10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Well, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good golly, Miss Molly. I'm getting this video delay on my side again, which caused me to wonder when that video was going to end, but apparently it played okay, I think.
It did just fine.
It did just fine. I'm getting the usual fiddly stuff going on, but I'm sure we'll overcome that. Welcome to my nightmare. Welcome to the show today where we're going to talk about bands that indulge in a little bit of horror, whether it be in their look or their sound or their lyrics or just they're plain horrifying and horrible. So we'll have a list of those that we've compiled, and then we'll have some extras thrown in by the panel. And some songs that they consider to be particularly scary. One song that we are not going to be talking about is this one. There will be no Monster Mash. That is right out. Cut it. Although we may already have broken that one. And we probably will break it again. But the most overplayed song in respect of Halloween. But I'm sure one way or another it will work its way back in to the conversation. And we had it in the montage. So I have, of course, come as one of the least scary bands in the world, Kiss, who are not in my top 10, but they may get a mention here or there.
They're scary because they won't go away.
That's right. They just won't die. They are the undead.
Does that mean Keith Richards counts as one of those?
Keith Richards actually did die several years ago, but they just haven't got the guts to tell him.
Yeah, fair.
Yeah. So welcome to our my wonderful panel, my scary panel. Most scary, of course, I think happens to be John. How are you, John? Or should I say?
I'm doing good.
Yeah. Should I say Ghostface? Is that what it is?
The faceless monk.
The faceless monk. I know you'd fit right in the backdrop of a few of those bands we just played. Great job, mate. Fantastic job. I'm very impressed. And yeah, we've also got Joe has got his avatar. So tell us about your avatar, my friend.
My avatar is the Scarecrow of Romney Marsh. It's me as Patrick McGowan in the
Patrick
Disney
McGowan.
classic, man.
Yes, I haven't seen that since I was a kid. So, and that was like 400 years ago.
It's my favorite thing Disney ever did. It is awesome. Love it.
So, yeah, Patrick McGowan, of course, great actor. Scotland.
Doesn't
my
get any better
land.
than that.
My land. Yeah, thanks for being here, buddy. Also, we have our great friends, Imperatus, whose fault it is that we're doing this in the first place.
Yeah, well, that'll happen.
Imp's going to give us the finer points of some of those lovely lads in Scandinavia that seem to indulge in a lot of horror. We may well talk about those. We got a couple of published lists to go over once we've gone over our own list. Oh, there you go. That's a nice one, Joe. That's much better.
Now you can see it, can't you?
That's cool. Yeah, that's very good.
I had to dip into my split cam thing.
Yeah, that's pretty good. Yeah, I don't know how to do that. You're well ahead of me. And obviously, our great friend Pope Metallicus is here, who's just scary in his own right.
Well, I try.
You do, and you don't have to try too hard to frighten me. So welcome to everyone in the chat. We're obviously live out there in Rumble too. For anyone who may be watching but on YouTube, I can see a lot of our good friends are here already chatting away. We got Maddie's daddy. Well, good to see you, Steve, mate. Nice to see you. Your 24th great grandfather was Robert the Bruce. Well, maybe you've got a legitimate claim to the Scottish throne now. Then you could usurp the current Hanoverian royalty and reinstate the Jacobites.
Careful how you pronounce that there, 70s.
That's right. Then again, just about everybody in Scotland's descended from Robert the Bruce, I'm sure, in one way or another.
He did get around.
Yeah, those guys got around in the medieval days,
Right? It's either Robert the Bruce, Charlemagne, or Genghis Khan, one of the three.
Yeah, we are all descended from Charlemagne. DNA studies have proven.
Very true.
Jonah Hex is here. Davina, the wonderful Davina, is here. I forgot about Ray Parker Jr. and Ghostbusters.
Oh, yeah.
That's obviously a very spooky themed song. And today we'll cover a few of those, but it was more about the bands today, I think. Lord Thoth is here. Great Wrench, of course. Thank you for being here, buddy. Living in scary Canada, the most scary place on earth right now, as Christian will testify to. Bonjour to you, Christian. Thriller is just a cliche song. Well, I want to talk about that because I have a poll up. I've had to pick four because you can only have four choices. I picked four songs that are associated with Halloween in some way or other. So please go vote on that. And
please do, because Thriller's in front. And it's making me sick.
I'm a secret fan of the Edgar Winter winning. So if I can deliver a batch of votes at the end of the show to do that. Southern Viking is here. Soul Assassin, good to see you. Roman of the Empire, my great friend, who is always welcome. Maybe once I get this bloody mask off, I'll send you the link, Roman. Because I can't see bugger all right now. I can barely see the screen. Massgrave is here. Scumdogs of the Universe is definitely going to get a mention. That's for sure.
Rest in peace, Odor Sarangus.
Exactly. So yeah, welcome to you all. We'll keep in touch with you. We want to keep dead. Joe reminded me I'd forgotten Oingo Boingo, but I've managed to scrape them into the others list after.
There you go. There you go.
Season of the Witch by Donovan, another early spooky song. Well played. A Scotsman, Donovan, Donovan Leitch. Didn't sound like it, but he was from Glasgow. Right, well, I'm going to take this off because I can't see nothing.
There he is. You going to keep the wig on there, Baldy?
Christ, I don't know what's more terrifying, the mask or no
right?
mask.
Oh, God. Quick.
Is it even scarier now? This came with the Gene Simmons single "Radioactive." which I
Really?
got on blood red vinyl.
Wow.
Not that I'm a big Kiss fan, but I could wear this way, of course,
Go cousin it.
because
Thought
of
that was my
it.
job.
Right, I'm back. Oh, jeez, I was dying in there. But yeah, the wig could stay on, I guess.
You gonna make it, buddy?
That doesn't work. Let's face it. In the chat, we're getting Bauhaus, Bela Lugosi's Dead, Psycho Killer, The Talking Heads, which begs to mention what do we really mean by a horror song or a scary song or so. Psycho Killers are Psycho Killers Halloween? Yes, I guess they are.
Can
Panel?
be.
Are we thinking Halloween? Yes, they could be. I mean, let's face it, all these slashers are Psycho Killers.
Yep.
So the answer is yes. So Christian, our great friend Christian Delorme, has sent a $10 super chat. Thank you, my friend. I have a special treat for you for that. $10 from Christian Delorme. Here's some whiskey flowing money. Well, I was drinking the whiskey on bourbon and boarding, so I do need to get some new bottles. And for you, I have a very special clip, which I think I've only played once. Have I played it at all? Well, you're going to get it now if I can find it. It's this one. I just love that. I've watched that video, Bill McClintock video, 100 times now. I think it's just fascinating.
He just sent you another one too.
He did, but the Judette, the Sentinel, mixed with Roxette, it's just, and it looks like Rob's dancing to it. It's hilarious. I don't know how Bill McClintock.
That's the best part. Is he didn't just match up the music really well. The videos are just as good.
That's right. I just love that one, and yeah, Christian has very kindly donated another, and I do appreciate it, mate. It does keep the lights on here for an unemployed guy with a back problem. Thank you. $5 from Christian. Don't listen to the panel, Brian. God made one perfect head, and the rest he put hair in them. Amen to that. I absolutely agree with you, my friend. In that case, you've got to get the original one.
That is so awesome, man.
What is it about Judas Priest that they just work so well in these scenarios? But that Roxette one is just, I thought I laughed the whole way through it. It was so good. I'd forgotten Roxette as well. She was quite a cute little girl in that band.
Yes, she was.
Yeah, well, they were Scandinavian. They should have been a death metal band. Or maybe they were Dutch.
Sweden goes one of two ways. It's either pop music or death metal. There's no in between here.
It seems to be the case. And you got Ace of Base and ABBA, and then you have Marduk and Entombed and Dismember. And
yeah, I think a mashup of Marduk and ABBA would be awesome. I think somebody's probably done
that would be rather interesting to get those two to match up.
And I was trying.
Marduk did cover Rolling Stones, and that was interesting.
That's very true. I forgot about that one.
I was trying to find an ABBA track that I could do something with in this vein, but I didn't run out of time. But so Davina mentioned Goblin, which is actually on my list of other bands that we'll cover after the main list. Suspiria, they did all those great soundtracks for Dario Argento and Dawn of the Dead soundtrack, which is just brilliant. So great Italian progressive rock band that did a lot of great horror stuff. So horror in rock and pop, I guess it's and there are subgenres of that, of course. I was trying to think. I've got shock, we've got satanic, we've got gothic, we've got supernatural, we've got monsters, we've got cosplayers like Kiss.
Yep.
Slasher bands, voodoo and Cajun stuff, which we'll barely get time to touch on today. There's a whole Dr. John and a whole strand of that stuff. And then Space Aliens, obviously, was a big. So there's all these.
Yeah,
bands.
I was thinking about when you said no Monster Mash. The next one would have to be on the no we don't play it list. Is One-Eyed, One-Horned, Flying Purple People Eater, right?
No,
yeah, can't have that monster in here.
Yeah. So even just for mentioning that, you're out of here. There you go.
He goes in the penalty box.
He goes in the penalty box. It's a yellow card for that one.
2 minutes by yourself, and you feel shame.
Then you get free.
I've got those clips, but they're in the Bourbon and Boarding profile, so I can't play them right here. Well, hello, Eclay. So, where did it all begin? They've only just begun. I was trying to find a horrific Carpenter song too, but I couldn't. It was Calling Occupants of Interplanetary Craft might be the closest. I need to share my screen, I think. Look at that lovely image. There were a few acts in the 50s and 60s kicking about that just before we get into our main stuff, I wanted to talk about. Call them early acts. So one of them, and when he was briefly in the montage at the beginning, is Arthur Brown. The crazy world of Arthur Brown, who did Fire, of course, which was a big hit, and he really leaned heavily into the dressing up and horrific stuff. And used to set fire, literally would set fire to his headgear, occasionally having to be bailed out by roadies with pints of beer. And then he formed a band called Kingdom Come, who had a somewhat of a satanic, ghosty, whatever image too. That's
not the same Kingdom Come that sounded like Led Zeppelin when they came out.
They did, yes. Vincent Crane
okay.
was the keyboard player, and then went on to be an Atomic Rooster, very heavy.
Played some good stuff, man. I enjoyed them.
And Carl Palmer was the drummer for quite a while for Arthur Brown before he went on to ELP. Well, he went on to Atomic Rooster, then ELP. So they had quite a good band lined up behind them. Never really broke the one-hit wonder status, though, because of Fire. But it was a great track, and it quite unlike anything I'd seen on Top of the Pops back in the day. I don't know if they would allow him to set fire to his head now on television. But Screaming Jay,
they weren't just a little bit ahead of their time, because Alice Cooper would be doing equally outlandish things a decade later and become a huge superstar for it. So
I think Arthur Brown really was a huge influence on Alice Cooper and Kiss to a certain extent, and he also appeared in the movie of Tommy as the priest, if you remember the movie. So quite an influential guy, and like a lot of these guys, a lot of famous British rock musicians passed through his band in the day. But another guy that really leaned heavily into this stuff was Screaming Jay Hawkins. Put a spell on you, and that's more on the voodoo side of things. But he was on that song, of course. Creedence covered it, and it became a big deal.
Decided you liked Oxygen there, John?
Well, I could breathe fine. It was just hot. I was getting thirsty, so.
But I appreciate you dressing up like that, mate. That was a good one. But Screaming Jay Hawkins had certainly had a thing going here, and smoking is bad for you, as this proves.
Yes, but it's voodoo, so you get to take that smoke and pass on the negative effects to someone else.
That's right. That's true. And you can continue to smoke following death. Actually, I've got a clip of one of my favorite bands from the of all time is a band called 10cc, and this isn't a particularly dynamic clip, but they did a song early in their career called Baron Samedi, and it's about that. I'm just going to play it because I love 10cc.
Hold down, you gotta trace a man, hold down, you gotta shake a man, hold down, and take a piece of their soul, man. Well, he could take a little moonlight, suck the poison from a snake bite, moving round about midnight. He's got the power of sacrifice to the virgin women. shaking.
Any song that talks about sacrificing virgin women has got to be good.
Well,
Oh boy, do me and Imperatus have a list for you then.
yeah, right.
And that
Pretty
was
much all of Venom.
and that was a really neat song. And it was the same band that did "I'm Not in Love," of course. So they clearly had other interests. Well, maybe "I'm Not in Love with the Sacrificed Virgin Woman" was the message. Love that band, by the way. Check them out. Check that concert out. It's on YouTube now, from '72. Really good. But another guy who followed the screaming thing was Screaming Lord Sutch, British singer, of course. And he again had Richie Blackmore and a whole bunch of other guys in his band throughout the '60s, and he really leaned heavily. He used to come on stage in a coffin, so he leaned heavily into that shock horror thing from a British perspective. As you can see, he did the whole monster rock thing, and then he later became a politician. He founded the Monster Raving Loony Party in the UK. Who stood for election many times, sadly lost, because I would love it if they'd won. Just would have loved that.
Everything burns.
Yeah, he had a big hit with the song called Jack the Ripper, which is this is the cover of the Jack the Ripper EP. Quite a famous song in British rock. I loved the Monster Raving Loony Party because one of their in their manifesto was obviously had sections like the economy, health, and then one was defence. And he said, our policy on defence is we will paint it with decreosote. So, and then there was a Liverpool band called the Undertakers, who at one point in Liverpool were more popular than the Beatles, and they leaned into the heavy. Like they had coffins on stage, and they used to dress as undertakers with the top hats or whatever. So there was a bunch of guys trying to get into setting the scene, I think, for what was to come. I don't know if from a '60s perspective, if you guys can think of any other acts that were doing it big in those days. I mean, obviously we had Voodoo Child with Jimi Hendrix.
There was a band, I think it was called Coven.
Oh yeah,
That sounds familiar.
There's a lot of black metal bands would cite them as like a real early non-punk or metal influence as far as imagery and lyrical content and such.
Coven. No, I don't know if I've heard of those guys. I'm going to write that down, mate. Coven.
I know they were around super early. I don't know if they're 60s or 70s though.
I was thinking they were 70s.
Yeah.
It's possible.
Sacrificing a virgin, isn't that prom night as Christian?
Ideally, yes.
Yeah, isn't that prom night? Yeah, Cab Calloway, yes. Cab Calloway did an awful lot of that kind of stuff. Of course, he's famously ended up in the Blues Brothers in a role, didn't he? But, there's always been a touch of horror. Bat Out of Hell I didn't include in any of this, and I should have, but because Bat Out of Hell and Jim Steinman is very gothic horror related, of course, but a lot of these guys led into the Alice Cooper experience, which we'll be talking about later when we get into our 10. And let's get into 10 bands that we kind of picked between us, and then I'd forgotten a few that others mentioned. We'll go around those. So I think Black Sabbath, of course.
Well, of course, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, the founders of heavy metal and doom metal in one go.
That's right. I mean, you just even have to look at the cover of the first album. There's a few things going on here, I would say.
Yeah.
That album's really cool because all you have to do to make it look really creepy is just change the color palette a little bit. That's really just a photograph.
Yeah. Yeah,
That
it's
they
probably
just mucked up a little bit.
some really beautiful English country mansion. It's and of course they got their name from the movie Black Sabbath, which is an old 50s American International horror film, which is actually a really good movie if you've ever seen it. So it's not a bad movie at all.
Did Boris Karloff ever do anything bad?
Well, exactly. It's a really great movie. Those movies were fantastic. So that's where they got the name from. Again, Heaving Bosoms, always a great thing about gothic horror movies. all bosoms are gothic, or all gothic's bosoms. I don't know. So yeah, I mean, I wouldn't say they particularly. Yeah, they had the upside down crosses and whatever, and a lot of black leather. They didn't particularly dress. They were dressed in black, I guess, is the closest to a look. But their songs, you know, on that first album, you got the song Black Sabbath, which was in the montage, which is really doomy. I mean, but you had songs like NIB, just about Satan, and trying to find a bride, if I remember rightly, or something like that. So usually
NIB stands for Nazarene in Black, so you know, not exactly approved by the church.
Yeah,
I thought it was Nativity in Black.
Nativity in Black, yes,
no, Nazarene in Black. I that one.
So I guess they leaned into the satanic side of horror in rock.
Imagery wise, at least. In terms of message, a lot of their later stuff is actually kind of evangelical.
Well, this is it, because as they said, you can't, I mean, and particularly famously, Dio used to say it as well, you can't have God without the devil. So,
well, I mean, when you look at the lyrics in songs like After Forever, it's like, it's basically calling out like the atheist because it's cool.
Yeah. Well, exactly. I mean, it's so the songs were this was the misconception about bands like Sabbath and Priest, that you're promoting this stuff. It's not. You're talking about it, and you're presenting it as an image and as a worldview, and there's a struggle between good and evil.
And a lot of it is just using occult imagery to get across a different kind of point.
Yeah,
and a lot of that's Geezer Butler, who I think was the real occult guy in the group.
Yeah,
and fortunately for them, one of their chief songwriters.
Well, absolutely. Yeah, so because I don't think Ozzy wrote some lyrics, but not all
I think Ozzy helped with some of the lyrics, but it was mostly Tony and Geezer.
Yeah, I'm just sending a link to Roman of the Empire if Roman wants to join us. So Roman, check your Twitter DMs. So back to that, so they had songs like that, songs like Children of the Grave, and the imagery associated with that. What is it about dolls that rock bands want to dismember them? And like the Beatles even did it. You know?
Yeah, man. The Beatles even did that
dolls
stuff.
look really creepy.
Yeah, dolls are creepy. That's true. We'll be talking about that in my scariest song ever. And then I love this, which was the Children of the Grave 3D cinematic thing that they did at Universal. I've never seen it, but I bet that would have been awesome. Black Sabbath 3D, Children of the Grave. Masters of Reality had a lot of great stuff like that in it.
A lot of very different stuff too, especially for the period.
So I think they got to be, as well as the inventors of metal, practically inventors of metal and doom metal, they definitely had a huge symptom of the universe. There's another one. They had another influence was on the horror side of things, and very much on the satanic horror, Aleister Crowley style. Stuff, I would say, influenced by that. I've got a great picture of Ozzy in Black Sabbath, in fact. This was in the Snowblind era. Things weren't going so well. So
I thought that was the recent reunion.
That's a recent reunion. But, the guy's still going. So Ozzy and Sabs.
Although, unfortunately, apparently he's retiring from the road due to Parkinson's, which you always hate to see.
Yeah.
Let's face it, not seeing Ozzy on tours anymore, that's like the end of an era.
It is really, and I don't know what Michael Parkinson, British TV presenter's got to do with it, but
I had tickets to see him a couple of years ago when he canceled because he hurt himself. So
yeah, I mean, we consider the life he's led and that he is mid-70s. It's a miracle he can even walk.
He's lucky to still be here, let alone still performing at his age.
But certainly can't underestimate Ozzy's impact as a front man. I would never consider him a great singer, but as a front man, he's a legend. I mean, it's Ozzy. What can you say?
Yeah.
But Sab's instrumental in that horror genre. Moving ahead a little bit, though, in time, we have... if thing out on the screen here. My second band in the list I wanted to mention when we talked about was Ghost.
Yes,
Check
and
these
especially
guys
kind of similar tie-in to the old school horror movies. I mean, their song "Square Hammer" is literally just a tribute to Hammer horror.
Yeah, I mean, I would say that they specialized a lot in that ominous imagery, hidden in enigmatic personas, like the Papa Emeritus.
And I like their new costumes a lot less than the old ones because they had a very like the silver mask had that very satanic cult feel to it.
Yeah, they've gone for Cardinal. Isn't Cardinal Copia the sort of later character that?
Yeah, I think they've turned him back into one of the popes now, but
yeah, just one of the popes. Is it Top of the Popes? Is that the show they're turning in?
Well, they're switching They're going to be switching lead singers again because I read that the current Pope Emeritus it's his last album he's doing.
Well, that's the thing. They don't actually change out singers. It's all Tobias. In fact, he's the only actual member of Ghost.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
it's all the same guy. He just has different characters.
So if he leaves, it would be a bit weird.
Yeah,
I've left my own band.
No wonder their lyrics always sound, or their vocalist always sounds the same.
Yep,
I didn't catch that.
He's got a very interesting voice though, because it's not all power; it's all quite, clear and high.
And I like that voice for this band because it gives them that kind of creepy, ethereal quality in a lot of their tracks that it wouldn't have otherwise.
Yeah, it's very ethereal as opposed to sort of So they're very different, and it's that kind of marriage of powerful melodic instruments and dark lyrical themes with this.
Well, and one of the things I love about their musicianship is that it sounds very poppy and almost like very upbeat, and then you hear and like very reassuring in some ways, and then you realize who's talking.
Yeah.
And
then you actually listen to the lyrics
or serious. It's just like, oh, this is really like affirmative and stuff. Like, oh wait, it's Satan talking, isn't it?
Yes. So songs like Ritual, Year Zero, and Cerise, and fun topics like the Black Plague.
Yes,
there's an album. There's a fun of like Taylor Swift, the Black Plague. Just imagine her doing a song like that. And the imagery, I love this is what you get in a lot of metal.
Oh, their later album covers especially are fantastic.
Yeah. Because you get a strand of bands, and it's mainly more the punk ones will pay homage to classic 50s or universal horror with their text and their images. The metal stuff tends to be a little more like this, which is beautiful. I mean, it's absolutely beautiful. Elizabeth, that's another great track.
That one woman has spawned so many different songs and bands.
Yeah. I'm actually wondering aren't they known as Ghost BC in the US?
No, I think they started out that way because there was some kind of rights issue, and then they got that resolved, and now it's just Ghost.
Yeah. Yeah, they've. I mean, you can see they've got a lot of elements that they've picked up from other acts.
Speaking of interesting musicianship, they actually have a song with a saxophone solo in it.
I know. They've got the Pope singing, a Pope or a Cardinal or whatever. I don't recognize the hats. I don't know which one's which.
Playing the time period that was recorded in, probably the Cardinal.
The satanic sax. A lot of chains on stage too. But, it's a brilliantly executed image. But I've often found, although they're a metal band, that their music is quite, as you say, quite melodic, quite ethereal in places, quite progressive.
And their stage show is very theatrical in terms of, the presentation. Like, they have this big cathedral backdrop behind them, all that kind of stuff.
Oh, The Devil Went Down to Georgia. Great.
There we go.
Jonah. I wish I'd thought of that as in my I don't know what the new Ghost sounds like. I haven't listened to the latest stuff. I've got some of the earlier albums.
Impera's really good, really very 80s metal inspired. And then, of course, you have their newer cover EP where they did a cover of Phantom of the Opera and Jesus He Knows Me by Genesis.
Oh, by Genesis. Okay, I'm going to listen to that. Yeah.
It actually kicks ass.
Yeah, the Taylor Swift is the white plague, as most groups say.
She's the white Yoko Ono. At least I
Yeah,
hope so.
the way you go, well played, sir. The specials Ghost Town, another great choice. You see, next year we'll do a list of songs. This year I was doing bands, and I didn't. Yeah, Slayer and some of those metal bands could easily have been in here too. I went for more of the theatrical ones, I think.
Yeah, pretty much the entire black metal genre could be in here as a
It
whole.
could, yeah. We're in the middle of scary fish tacos right now. That's why Roman's not joining us. Oh, this is a great comment, by the way, Maddie's daddy.
Yeah, the hungry like Dust Wolfen. Yeah.
Hungry like Dust Wolfen. Particular joke.
Yes.
So Ghost, yeah, they made the list. Who's going to be next? Let me just close that down. I think so. I wanted to mix it up a bit, and I wanted to do a band who I've seen live way back in the day, the Cramps, and they how could I describe the Cramps? Rockabilly, surf, punk, psychobilly, rock and roll, but with a macabre twist. Very inspired. Now, this is a strand of rock horror inspired by the 50s monster movies. And
Oh, wow.
Back when Hollywood knew how to make a good monster.
Yeah, all those universal horror stuff. That's where their inspiration comes from. As I say, I saw them back in 1979 supporting the Police on a gig, and that's before the Police were even famous, and they were great. But it was all they didn't have so much of the stage craft going on, but the music was very rockabilly, psychobilly stuff. Great, they were great even then. Poison Ivy, the guitarist, lovely stuff. But yeah, they do an awful lot of 50s inspired and Universal inspired horror. I wanted to play more of their stuff, a little clip or two. Unfortunately, they were either extremely poor quality or copyright caught straight away. But, yeah, it's such a shame because they're so good. Like Human Fly is one of their songs. It's absolutely brilliant.
Wow.
They don't, and the brain logo at the top, they don't, they didn't necessarily dress a lot on stage or have a stage set that reflected that. Fairly low budget outfit, but the performances were always enthusiastic enough, particularly the singer who I just had a brain fart as well. God, I keep wanting to say Lux Interior singer. He could do that Human Fly thing without any makeup, or he turned into a human fly. It's really good stuff. Very, very impressive. Slightly I love this cover too, the Human Fly. If you ever get the chance to see, go on YouTube and look them up, and their albums like Psychobilly and it's Phantasmagoria and stuff like that. Really, really good band. Goo Goo Muck is a track, and a track that I always love, and you'll see it on YouTube. Can Your Pussy Do the Dog?
Ooh.
Which is you got a Rocky Horror Picture Show feeling from these.
Yes,
that was the feeling you got, and the great Poison
She's
Ivy.
definitely working a rockabilly guitar there.
Oh, yes. So a great little band, very, very horror influenced. Well worth a mention. I know that if Courtney was joining us, she would have wanted to talk about those. I forgot Werewolf in London, Warren Zevon.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Great song.
How about Rolling the Headless Thompson Gunner by the same guy? That's a ghost story, you know what I'm saying? Yeah.
Love Warren Zevon, sadly taken from us too early, and I was so glad I got the chance to see him play live once. And it was great. But yes,
he was known as a songwriter before he started performing on his own more than anything. Started with Linda Ronstadt. I mean,
he did, yes.
Yeah.
And Werewolf in London is what was it? The hairy-handed gent down in Kent. I'd like to meet his.
I'd like to meet his tailor. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, I got a couple of songs I'm keeping in my back pocket for when we hit the other section.
All right. Well,
I keep hoping nobody mentions them, so I'm watching the chat going.
And the
It'll
chat,
rip your lungs out, Jim.
Goo Goo Muck Solo Session. Yeah, the Cramps. Goo Goo Muck, great song. Lots of great suggestions in the chat, absolutely, and keep voting on that poll. Those of you who are here, so we can.
I wasn't going to mention that one until later, but they started mentioning stuff from other bands. I'm like, okay, I'm going to get to this one first. Damn it!
Yeah, exactly. The poll. We need Edgar Winter's Frankenstein to.
Edgar Winter's or Overkill's version, because those are both fun, fantastic.
Oh, both great. Yes. Cool. So another band that we had on our list that leans into horror, which is what all this is about, leaning into it. Some of them don't so much lean into it as it completely takes over their life. Before that, I am proud and pleased to join to the show. John editor and I took it out.
Hello, guys.
How
you doing?
You look like you're in the Cramps or the Misfits.
I heard you say the Cramps too, and I was like,
we just covered the Cramps as one of our bands. I saw them live. I'm sure you saw them live a few times.
I did. The last time I saw them was at the Rat Skeller, the Rat in Boston, probably in, I would say, 90. It was the year right before they closed, probably 97, 96 maybe.
I have to say, I love your outfit.
Oh, thank you. This
for various reasons.
I was going to be Wendy O. Williams for Halloween, so I got this vest at a thrift store, and I thought it was appropriate. But this wig, I'm rocking.
Well, good stuff. I like your backdrop too. Thanks for being here, because there's a couple of, well as the Cramps, there's a few other things I definitely want you to tell us about and talk about. I've got my wig too, of course, which is more like
you look like Robert Smith. That's what you look like. You should have put on black eye makeup. Why didn't you wear your black eye makeup?
This wig started. Well, I had my Gene Simmons mask.
He had his Gene Simmons mask on.
I saw that at the beginning. I'm still driving. Yeah.
This wig started out as a Brian May wig, and it's now turned into a Robert Smith. It's also got a bit of an Elvira drag through a hedge backwards look to it, I think. So, but I'll keep it on for now.
Courtney, you look like a rock and roll Mary Jane Watson. It's cool.
Courtney, you look awesome, and we are so pleased to have you on this stream.
Very cool.
Thank you.
You are gorgeous, my friend.
Oh, well, thank you. It takes a lot of wig and makeup and sunglasses and boob pushing up to make me look gorgeous.
Well, we all like boob pushing up. If you ever need any help with the boob pushing up, I'm sure you can get some
volunteers. It just takes a good push-up bra, ladies.
But I will, sex on wheels, somebody said. I don't know if they're talking about you, Courtney, but maybe.
Yeah.
And I've seen you on wheels in a video, so. So we will be talking about briefly. The plasmatics will be mentioned later. Briefly, Christian DeLong, Christian buddy, you're funding my entire life right now. Thank you, my friend. To my little sister on the internet, Courtney, you will always be a better redhead than a blonde.
It's kind of a pink head, isn't it? But,
it's
looking pretty red on my screen.
Is it?
Red.
Yep.
Maybe my sunglasses are making it look really good.
It's red, fluorescent red. Christian buddy, thank you for that. And I've already played the two clips I had lined up for you, so we're going to have to find something else here. I think we're going to have to play this.
Don't go on, pull your back, no reading from the Bible.
I get chills when I listen to that. I get chills. That one's for you, Christian. Thank you, my friend. So we'll move on. The next band on our list is one of the strangest bands, I think, that does the whole horror thing. And if I can just find the right damn thing, there it is. Who might these guys be?
Oh God.
The Muppets.
That's Guar.
That is Guar.
Amazingness of metal.
I've never
Yeah.
known what to make about these guys. They often remind me of like a children's television show at times. Those outfits, although
They're definitely not appropriate for children. when you see them.
well, exactly. This is
They're
a
the
band,
Wiggles, but corrupted by chaos.
exactly a band that showers the audience with fluids from various orifices,
Yeah.
projecting orifices.
Oh, yes, they do.
So Guar, Rich from Richmond, Virginia.
Really?
didn't
They're
know
from
that.
Virginia? I didn't know that.
They're from, and I guess it's the corrupting influence of being near DC that does this to them.
Yeah, most likely. I'm only a few years behind that myself.
Right. So and they're a blend of, I guess, heavy metal, grotesque costumes, and shocking stage antics, which really leans into Halloween. I mean, the dressing up is everything for these guys. Supernatural horror and science fiction themes, I guess you could say. And somebody mentioned, of course, Scumdogs of the Universe earlier. Seminal in more ways of the word than we might want to mean. A seminal album. They created this own. One thing I'll give them huge credit for, I'm not the biggest fan, is they did create their entirely own mythos.
Yep.
Like they've just created this thing themselves from scratch. I think it's quite unique, and it's kind of got that science fiction thing going on, but with a side of horror. You know, songs like "Sick of You," "Maggots." There's the interesting Mountain Dew getting the road.
Oh boy.
behind. Yes,
I have been sprayed from Guar before from being too close.
Has anyone ever seen them live in this panel?
Yes.
I have twice.
I have twice too.
So what was that like?
It's an intense stage show.
Yeah.
And you don't get too close unless you want to get various colored goop on you.
Yeah, I learned that the hard way the first time. The second time I didn't get very close.
Nobody wants goop, particularly colored goop.
Well, especially when I had Sinister P. Hyman with a giant penis spraying stuff all over the audience.
When they bring that out on stage, that's like, OMG.
Yeah, I'm getting to the back of the hall.
Everyone runs.
They really do work at it as well. What was the music like, though? I mean, was it really loud and great? Yeah.
It's Guar. And they're quite the performers. They really are. They put on a great performance.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. I liked some of the later stuff they did with the tech. This is the Blood of Gods, but the Techno Destructo stuff, the Cyborg Nemesis. That to me appealed to the science fiction in me fan. And they're not on my list of favorite bands, but I've got this stuff.
They're kind of on that borderline between like jokey parody band and just out there.
That was what always bothered me. Are they kind of edging onto parody? But from a Halloween perspective, the dressing up alone gets them in here. And I did enjoy the fact they had a big beef with Saddam Hussein for a long time.
Namagogo.
I'm not sure he knew about them, but they had a beef with him.
I'm sure he would have if he knew who they were.
Southern Viking has seen them live. It sounds like a lot of fun.
Yeah, my favorite Guar song is Gorgor. A song about the giant dinosaur.
Yeah. Oh well, you would like that for sure. Yeah, that's absolutely in your wheelhouse, mate. But the spraying with the fluids is obviously I guess I'm sure it's just colored water, but who knows? This is a great image.
Colored water.
Yeah, we hope it is. I like the set in the background and the others. Let's see, he could have been in The Last Jedi.
Who says he wasn't?
What?
Dude. Wrong color.
That's funny.
Needs to be green.
Needs to be green. Unfortunately, I don't have any. There was a clip of them in the opening montage that I managed to fit in there. So, one of their more restrained clips. But yeah, I mean, you almost would see them as models, like tabletop models that
Like
somebody would
action
make.
figures or something.
Yeah.
That's what they're based on is like 40K Warhammer Fantasy
Yeah, they're very
minis, where
Warhammer.
they're just weird.
Very Warhammer. I like the Southern Vikings. So the club I saw them in was so hot. They came out in their underwear for the encore. I guess I've had enough of the costumes. I got to take this off because I'm too hot as well. But, you know, Balt's one thing about being bald. It's a nice radiator of heat. Although it's snowing outside here already, so I should mention that winter is here. So that's Gwar. They had to make the list. Do you agree? I think.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Had to make the list. We have Belmont Press Comics. Hail to you, my friend. Hail to
Hello,
you.
Belmont Press.
Nice to see you. Who have we got next on the band list? Oh, well, we couldn't do this. We couldn't do this without this guy. I guess it was such an obvious one that we had to include Rob Zombie.
Of course.
Of course. Yep. White Zombie, Rob Zombie, whatever. We're just calling it Rob Zombie.
Guy's name is Zombie. You know, that screams Halloween.
The dude is just one of the biggest horror fans of all time. Like,
yes.
I saw the interview where he like showed off his like horror movie collection. He's got pretty much everyone ever produced.
And so committed to the genre that he makes movies.
Yes.
Which I admire. I admire that very much.
At least a couple of them are pretty good too.
Yeah.
Not bad. Yeah, not bad. He knows his
I just
stuff.
didn't like his Halloween one. That one, he didn't quite get the story.
Oh, hold on. Sorry. What happened?
What? Hey.
I liked that Halloween. I really did. I think it was a very interesting, like, I don't know. I thought it was.
You liked it? I thought it was okay. I didn't. I agree. I don't think he really.
I don't think he understood he was the boogeyman. He tried to portray him as a troubled teen that came from a
But
bad
I think
home.
that's what was cool about it. Because maybe he can relate being like Rob Zombie.
Right.
You know, like there's certain things that create evil and whatnot.
Yeah.
I've put you up next to the pumpkin, Courtney.
Oh, hi, pumpkin. Wait, which way am I going? Right way?
You went the right way the first time. There you go. Right there.
So you gotta admit, he is the archetypal metal horror fanatic.
Oh yeah.
I mean, everything about him. He's so committed. I love this album title. I actually have only heard the album once, but it's not because I don't like it. I just have so little time to listen to shit. The Electric Warlock Acid Witch Satanic Orgy Celebration Dispenser.
Amazing.
That has got to be a candidate for album title of the.
It's like psychedelic garage and horror and like metal and everything combined. Like.
Yeah, and
I don't think we're going to get much gospel music out of this guy.
No.
You never know. He's a shocker. He's a shocker, man.
Of course, we have classics like Hellbilly Deluxe, which is funny because I like Dwight Yoakam and he's got an album called Hillbilly Deluxe. So I don't know if this was a direct response to that.
It was, yeah.
And I don't think he's got a beef with Dwight Yoakam, who's a cool guy, but Hillbilly Deluxe was a bit of a classic, I have to say. Macabre influences his sets, his artwork, his themes, zombies, monsters, and more.
He's very much influenced by another guy on this list that we'll get to.
Yeah, we will. And he's worked with him. House of 1,000 Corpses. There's a great. That would be a great movie.
Oh, you think?
Yeah. Texas Chainsaw Massacre is a big influence on him too, and many more.
Didn't he do the remake of it?
He did, didn't he?
I think he directed it.
Yeah, not the Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2, because that was Toby Hooper, but
That's
I think
Toby
he did the
Hooper.
remake. He did the remake, but that's a big influence on him. Toby Hooper's a big influence. Black Sunshine, great song. More Human Than Human. Scum of the Earth.
That was like their big hit when I was
in
In high school, I think more human than
human, scum of the earth, demon speeding. The list goes on. The man's legendary. I like the clip of Dracula in the montage when he's dressed as a predator. He's got his predator outfit on. That's a great clip.
Love that song, man. That is a great tune.
Yeah. If I go into some of the movies, obviously he's done a lot of movies. Can't fault. I mean, I'm not a hugest of horror fans. I like some horror stuff. More of a sci-fi guy, but they've all been pretty good. I mean, I can't fault them for trying, you know. So
horror is a fun genre, man. If you're into roller coasters, that's the thing to do. Let's go to a horror movie.
I'm not into roller coasters, but
well,
yeah. Dracula is a great driving song. That's why I was lucky to get a clip I could use in the opening, copyright-wise, a clip of it. And it's a great performance. I think it might have been on Letterman or something like that. Imagine just Letterman. And now on the show,
right?
Rob Zombie. Yeah.
One thing I've always respected about him, especially as a director, is you can tell he clearly has a passion for it. Like, even when his movies aren't great, it's not because of him.
Yeah, and exactly. I cannot fault the guy for effort, you know. And
I like that he puts his wife in them too.
Yep.
She's hot.
She is, and quite right.
Showing a hex, does that mean I should be a star? Because I'm both.
Yes, funny. You should be in a horror movie. We'll talk. See if Rob Zombie watches this, and we can get you in a movie, Courtney. That would be good. That would be good, especially if they allow you to do a couple of songs in it.
His brother actually used to come by the punk rock store I worked at in Boston for a while. He's in Power Man 5000.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. That's right. Was it his older brother?
Younger brother.
Younger brother. Okay. Yeah, I thought. But yeah, great look. You know, I mean, I don't know quite what they're trying to say, but good look.
He's what I imagine Papa Cotton looking like. If anyone knows who that is.
He may be Papa Cotton. We don't know.
Yeah, he could.
Yeah. So definitely a unique guy. Definitely one of the main horror metal guys around. But you'll always be in the top handful forever, I think. And good music. I like his music. Kicks ass.
Oh yeah.
Kick-ass music. Love it. Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah, Rob Zombie, White Zombie. Now, next on our list is one that Courtney's going to like. And I like them too. And we've even got a clip we're going to play, one that apparently isn't copyrighted. This is... Let me get to the correct folder. If my mouse will begin to work. Scary bands. We are going to talk about the Misfits.
Yeah.
Glenn Danzig. The Misfits and Glenn Danzig.
Mr. Danzig.
So it's funny how there's this horror metal bands have got this horror thing going, but there's a lot of punk bands did too.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, there's many more. Yeah.
I think the punk bands, this is just my opinion, generally kind of went more into the classic horror movies of like Universal and the 50s monster movies and that kind of image. And the metal bands more into the satanic, heavily supernatural, blood spattered, whatever. That's a generalization.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you've got them all though.
I think
they are.
The Misfits kind of crossed over a little bit into two of those things. I mean, they could do the classic monster stuff, but they also had a little bit of the bloody slasher metal, supernatural ghoul stuff going on.
That is not the Danzig I want to see.
So
there we go.
So the Misfits and Glenn does it. Seminal punk band from '77, like one of the first, really.
Their early stuff is really cool to listen to because it's so like underproduced. It's just like raw. I don't know. It's very
Yeah.
cool.
And yeah, they had quite a good reputation even in the UK in the late 70s. You know, they were well known, even though they were American. They got the ghost, the ghost. What would you say? You would call it the skull logo. That's the
Mhm.
word I'm searching for. Logo from old school horror movies. I think there might even be one movie in particular. I can't think of what it was, but they took that skull logo. It's a great logo. Really good.
It's so recognizable too. Like if
Yeah.
you just see that, you know it's Nemesis. Like
Yeah, classic old school horror. And then they had I mean, a lot of the punk bands that did horror stuff didn't really dress up in that way. They may have had material that was related to horror, but the Misfits did lean into it on stage with sets and the way they dressed. Made a great job of it. A unique blend really of punk horror and the supernatural. You know, the iconography, the lyrical themes, the sound all made them pioneers in punk horror. I think they're probably the punk horror band.
And a lot of that has to be Glenn Danzig himself, because a lot of his solo stuff later on with Danzig is very similar.
Yeah. Now I know I said right at the beginning of this show, and I've broke it in the montage. I broke my rule in the montage. I said we're gonna have no Monster Mash.
Don't make us tap the sign.
Well,
Right.
I love that song.
Well,
We
I
better have-
lied. I lied because we're going to play the Misfits in full, playing the Monster Mash. Great version. Okay,
I love it.
that is brilliant. So again, I'm getting I'm the only one, but the video I play for myself is delayed.
No, it's doing it on
It
the
is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The sound is fine.
Sorry about that,
That's
guys.
that's what matters, man.
I-
They get the picture.
I've had this the last few weeks, and I've been spending days trying to figure out why that happens, and I don't know. I've got everything switched off on my laptop. I've got any kind of process governors going, but never mind. It's a great performance of that song, and that is the exception to the rule.
Did it say what year that was? Because that's like
Oh, I don't know.
70s, definitely.
It's 70s. It's maybe 79, 80. great performance. They really, and it's not like they're taking the piss out of it. They do it really nicely. The other one I wanted to play was the Bonzo Dog Doodah Band's version, old British pop, experimental comedy.
Could you
pop
say the
group.
name of that band again, please?
The Bonzo Dog Doodah Band.
Doodah.
The
Doodah.
Doodah Band. They were a British
Doodah.
group of the late 60s who were very associated with Monty Python. Like Neil Innes was in them, and he went on to work with the Pythons on their movies.
Ah.
And they did a great monster mash where they had it all acted out with monsters in this, on slabs and whatever. And of course, they did it very English. Vivian Stanchel did the monster mash. You know,
Right.
But it was a great performance on a TV show called Do Not Adjust Your Set. But it's copyright blocked to hell, so couldn't do it.
Bummer.
Yeah, it's a bummer because it's a lovely version. Great. Yeah, I love that one. Shame about the video pausing, but I'm assuming the stream is still going okay out there.
Yeah, you're fine. I've got you on my right here. You're doing good.
I actually just needed to do that myself.
Oh yeah,
I
we're
got
back.
you covered, man. I'll let you know. Worry
Just
not.
let me know if something's going on because I'm
I
having
will.
some
The
problems.
less processors you got going, the better. I got you covered.
I'm
man.
having problems monitoring the damn thing.
I got you. We're good.
I'll just get up here again so I can see on my Alexa shit here.
Hi, Soul Assassin.
New channels. Talk amongst yourselves.
I was just
I got-
talking to the chat.
I got
Go
too
on.
hot in that costume, so I switched. I took it off, but I'm
don't
still
see-
wearing horror theme.
I'm
This
playing
wig is
with my.
actually very hot.
I don't know if anybody's noticed, but I'm playing with my split cam. I'm just putting up different
This is pretty good.
Halloween icons.
Yeah,
John, I don't see any difference. Did you say you're taking your costume off?
yeah.
Wait, where's
So-
John? Oh, ah! Just
I'd like
kidding.
to check in on the chat and see how they're getting on. So Bill Barkley's here. Good to see you, Bill.
Hi, Bill.
Christian's chatting away like a crazy man.
Christian.
Remember
my
when
brother.
cool band shirts were only sold in record stores? Well, now, as they were talking about in the chat, any teenager can buy a band T-shirt and they have no idea who the band is.
Right.
Yeah.
You know what's upsetting though? They starting to like go backwards with that. So when I was younger, you could buy the cool band shirts, in shops or whatever, in like band music shops, but they were always in men's sizes. So like if you were a teenage girl, it was like a bag on you. So I would like cut them up and like make them fit me. They finally started making like women's shirts and stuff, but now that the style is everything baggy again. Now they're all guys. They're all unisex, I should say. So they're all back to those
Yeah.
t-shirts. Bummer.
Exactly. So unisex. I bet when 70s had hair, it looked like that. No, when I had hair, it was actually good for the punk era because it was short and spiky. It didn't look good long, so I kept it short. I even had the skinhead look for a long time. So
I can see. Yeah, I can.
yeah, it just didn't. Long hair, it just went like this. So it'd be like Eric Clapton and Cream with afro. It was,
You got an afro. You were one of the curly-headed guys with the afro.
yeah, it was horrible. It was
The Scottish
horrible.
Bob Ross.
So when punk came in, it was great. It was like, great, I'll just let it do whatever it wants.
Right.
Cool. So where were we? Oh yeah, back on show and stream. So we the Misfits, brilliant stuff. Famous Monsters was a big album.
They have so many songs that just, I mean, even like I think it was Jackass, maybe the show Jackass. They used like Hybrid Moments as their song, and
Yeah,
they've been everywhere.
Skulls is a great song.
Yeah.
Mummy,
Yes.
Can I Go Out and Kill Tonight?
Can I go
Another
out and
great
kill
title.
tonight?
Blood Feast, which I wanted to play a clip of, but there's some terrible copies out there that didn't sound good. So, and then
Or just what about? Yeah, I was just gonna say that. What about Halloween?
And Halloween, of course, they did
Yeah.
a song, Halloween. So
And then, of course, you know, the greatest clip of all time of Glenn Danzig getting TKO'd by one of the fans.
I
That's-
wish I'd got that. Yeah,
he's very, very strong looking, but he's not.
He's also like 5'2".
Yeah,
He's
he's not
a
very
lover-
tall
he's a
this
lover, not a
way.
fighter. He's a lover, not a fighter.
No, he's just kind of like wider than he is taller, I think, in a way.
Back in the 80s, I always used to bring him up as fan casting for Wolverine.
I was fixing to say,
Yeah,
it sounds like a Wolverine dude. Yep.
Built like a tank, but only like 5'4". Yeah, that's it.
Indeed. But anyway, they've made some great stuff, and they were committed to the horror stuff. And that's what we're here to do today. So well done to the Misfits. Another band from the punk genre who gradually moved into the horror stuff was The Damned.
Yes.
First of all, the name is great.
Captain Sensible
Yeah,
used to
Captain
play with a night with nothing on.
Are you supposed to look at this poster through 3D glasses?
It's a 3D poster.
Yeah.
The Damned were one of the seminal British punk bands. They actually released the first single of any British punk band. Neat.
Neat. Yeah.
Neat. And everybody, I think in North America, knows the Clash and the Sex Pistols, but the Damned were equally important and indeed ahead of those guys.
Now, were they that? I'm always curious. At that time, were they popular like that in the UK?
Yeah, maybe not as commercially popular, but as well known and respected, and as big on the scene socially. Like, people would talk about them, go to their gigs.
They're still playing too.
Yeah.
They're still
Still playing. So the Pistols, the Clash, the Damned, and the Stranglers would be the four big ones of that
What about the
first
Buzzcocks?
wave. No, they were like a year later.
Okay.
Later. I'm talking about the four founding guys, if you like. They were all in that London scene,
cool.
playing in the pubs in London in the 70s, and they all then came up as those first four big punk bands. They inspired guys like the Buzzcocks, who then became like that second wave a year later. But the Damned are one of the first ones, and they quickly kind of leaned into early adopters of the goth look.
Yeah.
Like before The Cure and Echo and the Bunnymen and Sisters of Mercy, all those guys or whatever. All these goth bands, they followed the Damned. They got into that, and they loved universal horror stuff. Hammer horror movies were a big influence on these guys in gothic horror themes, and especially the look of the Dave Vanian, the singer. You can see there is
that how you say it? I always said Vanian.
it could be Vanian. I will say Vanian, but
you got a super sticker pal from Salty Traveling Sea.
Salty Traveling Sea, my buddy. I did send you a link, Salty. If you squeezed in, that would be lovely. If not, don't worry about it. It's 99-cent super ticket, a hot dog with ketchup.
So the ketchup's the fake blood.
Is it ketchup or is it blood?
Is it like Bobbit? I'm just kidding. I won't go there.
It may
Wow. Ooh, that's a horror movie in itself.
I think
Did I say that?
I think it may be blood, not ketchup. Well, thank you, Salty, our great friend. Always good to see you. We're gonna have to play a clip for you. I'll play. Bit loud that, but couldn't get it any quieter. The wonderful
I couldn't hear
Edgar,
it, but oh well.
You couldn't.
Hopefully
hear
the chat could.
I heard it great. Yeah.
I heard
You did?
Yes.
the wonderful Edgar Winter and
Frankenstein.
The beast is loose. Seen him
Speaking of
play-
goth, you don't get much paler than that.
That's
No.
right. You
You
get he's
sure
pretty
don't.
good. Him and his
The
brother.
albino rocker, no
Yeah.
doubt.
Possibly the
And-
whitest thing this side of Elizabeth Warren.
And luckily still with us, unlike his poor brother Johnny. But I saw Edgar many times playing live. He always plays that, of course. It always turns a 10-minute jam, and it's brilliant. He plays the drums. He's got all these drums set up. He plays them. He plays sax on it. He plays keyboards. And there, of course, he had Rick Derringer, little Rick Derringer on guitar, which is always nice to see. But I love that track, Frankenstein. Great one. Thank you, Salty, for the super sticker. But the Damned, grimly fiendish, of course, heavily leaned into their horror. And it got away from they got away from the old punk sound of sort of fast 3-minute guitar things, started doing things like Eloise, which was a big hit for them in the UK, a cover of an old 60s song. And did a lot of this horror-related stuff, Grimly Fiendish being one. And they did this Night of 1,000 Vampires live show not so long ago, where they really, really did it. It was a whole hot night of horror and that kind of iconography. Phantasmagoria, a great album by them. Now, they did a lot of fairly political stuff too, but they focused a lot on the horror. And Dave Vanian kind of went for that kind of Dracula look quite a bit. Captain Sensible was funny.
Captain Sensible is like so much fun. I saw, I saw them on Halloween in at the not the Paradise, maybe or Atlas or something, somewhere in Boston. But he was had no clothes on. He was just in his underwear.
He regularly played live in his underwear. Captain Sensible was the bass player and then became the guitar player. And then I think he played bass again and he just kind of switched. But he had a huge solo hit in the UK with Happy Talk.
Yeah.
From South Pacific. Happy talking, happy.
So annoying.
From a punk band. Like you went from a punk band to this huge #1 hit single with this show tune.
Kind of like in the Dolls, like Buster Poindexter going to like hot,
doing jazz stuff. Yeah, and I always loved the Damned's drummer, Rat Scabies. What a name! Yeah. But yeah, they were pretty keen on the old horror stuff. So a great look for them, and a band that's still going. Lovely guys for punks that are into horror.
I used to think Dave Vanian was so sexy. I don't know, when I was in college, because he was always just like, he was put together when I saw him live.
Yeah, they were great. And they were very early adopters in Britain of a horror theme from the punk genre, setting them apart from the rest. So I think they're worthy of being on here, and did have a clip of Grimly Fiendish in the opening montage. So yeah, the Damned, we're getting near the end of the list. Only 3 acts to go on this list before we talk about all the other stuff we've not done that we missed because there's 24 votes on the poll now. Unfortunately, Michael Jackson's still leading.
Come on, folks.
Come on. Anyone that's not voted in the poll, get in.
Don't make me unleash Freddie on you. Get the voting.
And please also help us out, as I know many of you do, by clicking the thumbs up, sharing the stream out. As usual, we are so happy to have all you guys here. You're here every week, and I appreciate it very, very much. And you're helping getting new eyeballs.
And share it. Yeah, share it out. I shared it all over the place.
Because we have such fun, and I have such a sexy panel. We're wonderful.
You guys are all really sexy.
Right, what am I looking for? Oh, the next act is I guess a fairly obvious one. It is these guys. Let me just this Halloween.
Yeah.
So we couldn't really have a Halloween scary band list without Halloween, could we? Halloween, German power metal pioneers, of course. And their videos, particularly, they've often got a lot of elements like haunted houses, mad scientists, supernatural occurrences, and they're very much aligned with old horror themes. And of course, they've got that fantastic stage set that they have. With the pumpkin.
The Pumpkins United tour was insane.
Oh yeah, we had a little clip of that in the opening montage as well.
Especially because I think that tour they had all 3 of their singers on the same tour.
Yeah, which was pretty mad. Yeah. Straight Out of Hell. I just love this cover. It's so. It's
amazing.
Well, I'm trying to think. There's so much going on in it. First of all, it's got a war thing going on, and then
I mean, they're German, so of course they have to have gas masks in there
that's
somewhere.
right, gas masks and some of the pumpkin heads, the gas masks, the bullets are flying, the grenades, there's some kind of invasion going on.
It's kick-ass, man.
It's a kick-ass cover and a great album.
And you can see like Nightmare Before Christmas with like the
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know what came first because
I see Jack's face down there to the right.
I don't know
Yeah.
either then.
Yeah.
This is one of the
Check it out. That
later
looks
ones, I
like
think.
Jack right there. Where
It
your
does.
mouse
Yeah,
is.
that's what I was saying.
Mhm.
Hi, El Hombre.
El Hombre
Hi,
is
Son of
here. How you doing? Good to see you, El Hombre.
Yeah, I think this is one of their newer albums, maybe from like the mid to late 90s. So this might be after that.
Yeah, and we're it might be. I can't remember the order of them. I mean, I've got them all on digital, and I can't say I've listened to them a ton of times. But
The real duo for this though is the two I did last year for Halloween: Keeper of the Seven Keys Part 1 and 2.
well, Keeper of the Seven Keys is one of their seminal pieces.
Well, those albums also include the two real Halloween themed songs
Halloween.
on there, being Halloween and Dr. Steen.
Dr. Steen. That's the two I've got
One
right
of
here.
the funniest metal songs I have ever fucking heard.
Dr. Steen and Halloween. Yeah, they're great tracks. They really. You know what I like about the music? The music, unlike some of the other bands on here, the music is. It has that tension of a horror movie in it. Like it could almost be musical versions of horror movies. Some of their songs, they've got the.
Oh yeah,
there's a kind of dramatic tension in the songs.
Well, especially like the song Halloween. The intro to that is like super heavy, very doom metal, just dark as hell, and then they go straight into the normal, very technical power metal that they're famous for.
Yeah, very gothic at the opening of that, and the images on the albums are like nightmare landscapes, monstrous creatures, the gothic stuff. Yeah, they've really nailed it, I think. And you've seen them live.
I have not, no, unfortunately. I want to, but for some reason I've never seen them. I just have the Pumpkins United concert DVD, which is absolutely outstanding.
I've only seen that stuff on YouTube. Yeah, I've never seen them live. So, but good show though. That was a good show. Like good tour. The material online you can see is fantastic. So,
oh yeah, if you guys want to have a good time for like an hour and a half, look up the playlist on their band page for Pumpkins United. It's phenomenal.
Yeah, well, or you could just call me. Yeah, I like that. It's good stuff. They really are a good example of the genre. But another track that has a song, Halloween, of course.
It's also a rite of passage for metal bands at this point.
El Hombre mentions the Number of the Beast. We're kind of focusing more on bands right now, but there will be an Iron Maiden reference coming up, so stay tuned.
And hi, Mr. Yanafui. I think that's his first time here.
So. Hey, welcome, Mr. Yanafui. Thank you for joining us. Hope you enjoyed the show. We're just reaching the pinnacle of our top 10 scary bands, and the next one may be the next two will be no surprise. I think they're in order now. The others were just kind of,
the others were just kick ass.
Just kick ass in any order. We're getting into the order now. I think probably everyone will know what's coming. So the second last act, the penultimate act on the stream, let me just sort my shit out behind the scenes, is going to be King Diamond / Merciful Fate. I'm just going to talk about them as one.
I've seen
King Diamond. So you have?
Mm-hmm. With Motorhead. Oh, no, I saw Merciful. I saw Merciful Fate with Motorhead. Sorry.
Right, cool. Known for his piercing falsetto.
Oh, his voice is crazy.
Which is
good.
Not what you would expect. It's a very surprising voice when you first hear it coming out.
The awesome part with his voice, I think, is all of his King Diamond albums are basically horror novels told in song form, and he does multiple different characters with different parts of his voice. It's amazing.
Yeah, it's a real artist. Macabre stage presence, a great it weaves tales of horror, as you said. Into it's stories, supernatural tales of horror. Danish band, I think, or Danish artist.
He's Danish. I don't know about the rest of the
The
band.
rest of them, yeah, he was
Because
Danish.
I know for a while Mickey D was with them, and he's Swedish. So,
oh well, what the Scandinavians are like. They all seem the same, but they all hate each other. There's a saying in Norway: "As stupid as a Swede." So,
yeah.
There was when they released Life of Brian in Sweden, the movie poster said a movie so funny it was banned in Norway.
Didn't they do the opposite in Sweden? Or in Norway, rather?
Probably they have the same thing going back and forward, So Abigail, that's Abigail 2 cover, but obviously Abigail was a huge
Absolute
album,
masterpiece of an album too.
Yeah, I mean, Merciful Fate's masterpiece, I guess you would say, was Melissa, but Abigail is really phenomenal stuff. I mean, it's like I would say it was a blend of classic metal, the occult, and supernatural. And the lyrical themes, you've got Satanism, witchcraft, horror stories, all very old school horror. There's no slashy.
These guys were one of the huge influences on black metal in the 90s too. I mean, they started in '83 as Merciful Fate and then took off from there.
And not really. To me, what I like about it is it's that old school horror, not sort of like slasher in the woods cabin horror.
Yeah, it's very supernatural, very eerie.
Yeah. Ghost stories, vampire stories, demonic possession, all that kind of stuff. Haunted houses.
Yeah.
I mean, is this stuff that you lean into that you like? Or?
Yeah, I've been into King Diamond since when I was in middle school. So
yeah.
Like you said, he's got that unique voice. You hear the music, like, okay, this is gonna be kind of cool. Then you hear the lyrics, you're like, what the fuck?
I know.
Yeah,
but it works. Like Pope was saying, he's literally telling a story in song form.
As El Hombre says, merciful farts. I'm not sure if that's meant to be a compliment or not. Probably not. And Davina, sweet dreams are made of this.
I was actually really upset last year because King was on tour as part of Merciful Fate coming to Boston the day before I moved to Virginia.
Oh, that stings.
Yeah, so I couldn't go.
Dead Kennedy's interesting band. I wouldn't put them in a horror camp, but they're certainly an interesting band.
But they're punk rock and they have the word dead in it. So.
Too Drunk to Fuck. What a great song that is.
It is a good song.
It's one of my
I thought you were going to say Holiday in Cambodia
No,
or something. Instead he pulls out Too Drunk to Fuck.
I'm going for the one that'll get me demonetized. Holiday in Cambodia is far too soft. Too Drunk to Fuck is the real track.
So everyone knows that's his theme song.
It's true. It's so true to life. Yeah. So I don't know. And King Diamond deserves, to me, to be in the top 2 of this list. It's a unique act. I mean, you can see some influences from him.
And he's funny on this list because he's influenced by one of the bands on this list, and influenced another one.
Yeah, exactly. Well,
and I know the
Ghost influenced Ghost, wouldn't you say, or was that what you were? Like Ghost were influenced by these guys.
Oh yeah,
well, yeah, another band though too.
Tobias even admits it straight out.
Yeah. Well, there's another one. Smile, god damn it, just smile. Go on,
you know that brilliant scowl though, where it's just.
And the funny thing is, back in the day when I did a fanzine, I did an interview with him, and he was one of the nicest guys I interviewed.
I love that you just said fanzine.
Yeah.
That just brought me back.
So what were some of the questions you asked?
Well, at the time, I think he still is. He lives down in Texas. And I asked him, I was like, so how's it, being Danish, living down in Texas? Why'd you move down there? He's like, oh, it's kind of the same. What?
Weird.
He's like, oh. He's like, the way the people are. How open and, how generally friendly the people are and so on and so forth. Yeah. I was like, okay, sure.
I thought he maybe meant the raping the cattle and pillaging the women.
Check out the super chat you just got from Chris.
Yeah, that's funny.
But I'm interested that you met him and interviewed him. That's really neat. And
I didn't meet him. It was a phone interview.
All right. Okay. So you couldn't see what he looked like. He was probably pajamas. But
Yeah, just looking normal.
so our Christian buddy with the $6.66 Canadian. I see what you did there. 666 Canadian. Thanks, my friend. Really appreciate this. Christian's got his own first live stream coming up on October 26th.
Yes,
What?
that's
October
The
26th.
25th.
Sorry.
Wednesday.
OMG.
Wednesday.
I will be there.
So we should all be there to support him.
I will be there.
Or-
I will
Yeah.
absolutely
Live
be
with
on
him.
that show.
Yes, I will.
Imperatus, tell the story when you got holy water splashed on your car. He says slashed. That implies somebody peed on your car. But so tell us.
Well, just one of the standard, joys of being a black metal fan. I was in my car at an intersection, waiting for the light to turn. Lane next to me, some old Hispanic couple, and what I was listening to, certain words were definitely more pronounced than others.
Mm,
And the old woman pulled out a vial of what I'm assuming is holy water and started splashing my car with it.
Wow.
Great. And what
That's
effect did that
amazing.
have? Did that have an effect?
No, not really. I mean,
You're still here today. Yeah, that is pretty weird. Yeah. Who carries holy water around in their car, for one thing?
Apparently, that old Hispanic woman carries it.
Jack Stafford might, who's new to the chat also. Hi, Jack.
Oh, Jack. Good to see you. Good to see you, matey. See, ahoy, me mateys. Joe, that's for you. He's talking to Joe there.
oh, and Pope, as far as that story goes,
That's
I
right.
was just say I was listening to Marty. He could probably figure out which song it was.
Yeah, I kind of figured.
So that's I've never had that happen to me. I've certainly been abused in my car from other drivers quite a few times. So we got to play something for Christian. I'm tempted to play this again because it's just so good. I just can't get enough of that. That's so good. Bill McClintock, you're a genius. You're an absolute genius. Where were we? Yeah, so King Diamond. I think we've said enough about King Diamond. We want to move
I mean,
on.
he's also got a song titled Halloween as well.
Yep.
He does, yeah. I mean,
And he
it's-
does a Christmas carol.
Oh, he did, all right.
That's right, he does. I forgot all about
No
that.
presents for Christmas.
Oh, see, I've heard a song. That's not the only person that's got that title, unless I've heard a cover of it. Come to the Sabbath, Abigail, them. Yeah, but I'm going to have to look for that one then. No, it couldn't be. Nick Lowe's got one, No Presents for Christmas. It can't be the same song. Nick Lowe doesn't sound like
Love Nicholas.
Highly doubt it
it
is.
doesn't sound like that. My favorite Christmas song is Dio's version of God Rest Ye Merry Gentlemen, or Merry Gentlemen, sorry. Dio's version of that
I
is
mean,
brilliant.
my favorite metal Christmas song has to be Motorhead with Run Run Rudolph.
Oh yeah, that's a good one. So we reached the top.
We're not
of
allowed to talk Christmas. It's Halloween
It's
still.
Halloween,
It's not
yeah,
even
yeah.
Halloween.
You know what's depressing? All the stores have got Christmas shit in them already.
I know. I walk in there, I'm like, what is going on?
How depressing
We haven't
is
even
that?
gotten past Thanksgiving, and
I
they've
know.
got Christmas stuff. What the hell, man?
Hi,
So,
Keely Chow. Hi, Anonymous G Gamer.
so we've reached the top of this list at number one, and there's only really one guy it could be. And you can see his arms in the background. It is, of course,
Only
the
the
wonderful Alice Cooper.
The Halloween guy.
When
I just
anyone-
missed him.
I voted for his
Yeah.
song on the poll, damn it, and the rest of you should have too.
Is it the Rob
Yeah.
Zombie tour he's doing right now, or with Rob
He
Zombie?
just played by himself. I know in Colorado Springs
Oh, right,
on
okay.
Thursday night. I think.
Still doing an incredible stage set. I've seen him a couple of times, and he was just wonderful. Always gives it his all. He's such a great guy, such a nice guy, but he does this fantastic shock. He's the king of shock rock,
I just love him.
prime figurehead of shock rock, macabre theatrics, horror, theatricality, and kick-ass rock and roll.
And pretty
And
much
then he
influenced
goes and
everyone
plays-
else on this list, especially Rob Zombie.
Yeah. I mean, you get shit like this.
Yes,
It's
the guillotine.
the
That's
Rudy-
awesome.
The roadies must have such fun
Oh God, yeah.
setting this shit up. In fact, that's some of the rock and roll rowdies right there.
That's actually funny. Yes,
props.
$1 million baby.
The $1 million baby. This,
My
sorry,
ex
go
had
ahead,
that
Joe.
tattoo.
Go ahead, Joe. Joe?
What's that?
I thought you were going to say something, Joe.
No. I just said $1 Million Baby. I had that album, man. I loved it.
It's a great album. They really, by then, they were really leaning into the horror stuff. But there's some stuff I couldn't show in here to do with the dead babies and $1 million babies.
Oh, I'm sure.
Stuff you wouldn't be able to show. The Frankenstein monster, which we saw in the opening montage, is just brilliant. I absolutely love it. Feed My Frankenstein. Great track.
The amazing thing with him is he's been doing it since '73, and that stage show still has not gotten old. Like Alice himself has changed through the years, but it's still Alice Cooper.
I mean, he's got the guillotines, the electric chair, the spiders, the snake. He's a real snake as well. The boa constrictor. He's always looking for a boa constrictor. Monsters, straitjackets, the whole theatrical bit with that whole sequence, dead babies, Welcome to My Nightmare.
I actually saw an interview with Rob Zombie about him when I was doing research for my Alice Cooper episode a couple of weeks ago, and he's just like, no matter what you want to do as like an outlandish stage gimmick or whatever, you're copying Alice Cooper. He's done everything.
I was fixing to say, he influenced everybody that puts on a big stage production.
And pretty much no matter what idea you come up with to like shock the audience, he's done it first.
He's done it already. Yeah. I mean, you can't tell me that Kiss wasn't big fans of this guy when they got started.
Huge copiers, I mean, the band, the original Alice Cooper band, they didn't really necessarily start out in this way. It was more kick-ass rock and roll, Under My Wheels and stuff. But they kind of moved into it with, Love It to Death, and then the track Killer album, School's Out, $1 Million Babies. They really went all theatrical then. I love the track Cold Ethel, or Ethel, however you want to pronounce that. Why let death stand in the way of a good relationship? Which is really the
even in the 80s, like his song Poison, that was such a good song.
Oh, it's a great song.
That was a great track from him.
He's never neglected the music.
No.
And
the stage stuff is just him having fun. He's an artist first and foremost.
Oh yeah, and the bands have always been great. His current band, I think, has got a lot of his kids involved and whatever.
His current guitar player, Nita Strauss, is phenomenal.
God. Absolutely, yeah.
And he's just a very intelligent person.
And obviously, we know that the contradiction that appears in that he's an ordained minister,
and he golfs, and he
golfs, and yet he loves this shit.
and Courtney might remember this. He actually had his own late night radio show in Boston for a while.
Yes, I do. That's amazing you brought that up.
Yeah, I think he still lives in Reading.
Wow.
Nita is a great guitar player. I agree. I mean, you look at the stuff online of the current tour or whatever. Poison is a great song live as well. He really delivers it well.
I love that song.
But here the guillotine stuff and the hanging and all that is just incredible.
Especially for when he started doing it too. I mean, 73, most bands only had like, a couple of lights and maybe some backdrops, and that was about it. Meanwhile, this man's on stage cutting his own head off every night.
Right.
And it's amazing to think when you look at a photo like this that he hasn't drank or taken drugs in 30 years.
No.
Yeah.
And Soul Assassin brings up in the chat, he was on the Muppets.
That's true.
He was.
Well, if you looked carefully at the opening montage, the clip of "Welcome to My Nightmare" was from the Muppet Show.
Oh, I was late. Yeah, I missed
very
it. I have
short.
to go back and watch it.
You could just see it in the background. It's a brilliant sequence. If the whole video is on YouTube, go watch that.
Back in the day when good bands were allowed on TV.
And the Muppets with Alice Cooper. This the whole guillotining section. It's just done so well, and songs like Black Widow, White Line Frankenstein, Feed My Frankenstein, Poison, Welcome to My Nightmare, of course. I Love the Dead. It's a great song. And he's just done such great albums, but never neglected the music, which is what I admire about him. He's always had a kick-ass band.
What I always loved was kind of the juxtaposition, too, is that he's never been the heaviest guy out there. Like, even from the early days with like No More Mr. Nice Guy and stuff like that, it was more hard rock than anything. and then you go see them live, and it's just like, holy shit, what is this?
Yeah. But yeah, such great songs. All the Frankenstein songs he's done. Dead Don't Dance. Zombies Dance. There's a ton of great stuff. He just really is the master of it, and deservedly number one on this list. So that was our kind of collective top 10. But I know that you guys had a few others that I absolutely missed. Before we move on to other stuff, quickly, if there was to be anyone we missed, I know, Joe, you're going to kick off. Who would it be?
Oh man, Oingo Boingo, Dead Man's Party. How do you not?
I have
know
been
that?
singing that song for 2 days since you posted that in the group
I'm
chat.
telling you, man,
It's the Dead Man's
that
Party.
is, to me, that's my favorite Halloween song.
I
It's
love
on
that
every
song.
Halloween playlist. It's a Dead
Who
Man's
could ask
Party.
for
Who could ask
more?
for more? Everybody, yeah.
I've been singing
That's-
it for 2 days for real. Ever since
You
I saw that,
go.
I'm like, that
You
song
go.
is awesome.
It is awesome stuff. They
That's
actually,
Danny
I mean, Danny Elfman's probably more known for his soundtrack work these days. Back then, I think this is the only album of theirs that cracked the Billboard Top 100. I think. They were more of a college band back then. They had a cameo in Back to School with Rodney Dangerfield.
I love that movie.
Yeah.
Well, the video.
Triple Lindy.
Mhm.
Isn't that the Dead Man's Party video? Has got that in it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's part of the video.
I would
Yeah.
like to have played some of that, but copyright would stop me.
Yeah,
It's a shame.
but yeah, that album's great. It's got Dead Man's Party. It's got my personal favorite on that album is Just Another Day. Freaking and the theme song from Weird Science was the first.
Weird Science is Oingo Boingo.
Yeah,
Yeah,
the theme
Weird
song from Weird
Science.
Science was the first one that was released
Right.
off that album. So,
Yeah, this is the
1985 is when that album came out.
I'm having trouble playing stuff, unfortunately. Anyway, but yeah, this is a great video, but it's not even playing without volume. So
Don't worry about it.
yeah.
But when that was the first thing I thought of was Oingo Boingo's Dead Man Party because it has the Weird Science, which is a Frankenstein story of sorts,
Yeah.
right? They create Kelly LeBrock with their bras on their heads and everything,
Yeah.
And Dead Man's Party. I mean, if you just listen to the lyrics to it, it's a great Halloween song. It really is.
Yeah, good stuff. Thank you for reminding me about them. Slack Babbitt. I think El Hombre's having some fun today.
He's being impatient.
I know he's like Black Sabbath. We did have on the list.
Oh yeah, that was the first guys we talked about, buddy.
Or obviously having him in an order of some sorts is going to disadvantage some people. So, but yeah, Bill Barkley was asking, does Alice have different colored eyes?
Not that I remember.
I don't know.
I don't recall.
Cradle of Phillips. I haven't heard that band in a while.
I did have a bit of David Bowie in the opening montage as well because I like the Scary Monsters and Super Creep song, so that was figured it fitted. Yeah, so another, obviously we didn't mention, somebody did mention in the chat earlier, Goblin, the Italian band that do all those great soundtracks for particularly Dawn of the Dead. I mean, that's a brilliant one. And then of course cosplayers, the guys that cosplay or Kiss. The cosplay,
man.
And they've got their elements of it, but I think there's to me the world's a poor man's Alice.
Yeah.
Attack of the Phantoms, which was also called the Phantom of the Park or something, wasn't it? Or,
Yeah.
Yeah, their movie.
Mm-hmm.
And,
I saw Kiss finally. Like I'd never seen them. I saw them probably like 10 years ago with Motley Crue and in makeup, and they did a great show. And they were all in like their late 60s. I couldn't believe it.
Yeah.
I was a huge Kiss fan when I was a kid. I had like the comic book. I had the I had a remote control Kiss fan.
Yeah, you're like my brother.
That's cool.
Yeah, my brother was a member of the Kiss Army too, no doubt.
Well, they marketed everything. Gene Simmons.
Yeah, they did.
Kiss everything. Kiss toothpaste.
Brilliant businessman.
And that's why I wore the radioactive mask at the start, the Gene Simmons mask. It's the only thing I've got of theirs. But,
radioactive.
with the single radioactive. To me they're cosplayers. Although I have seen them live.
I saw them in '83 when they had a tank
I saw them in
set up as their stage. You know, the drummer was, I think the guy with the fox makeup was the drummer at that time. That was the only guy that had left.
Sorry.
Yeah.
I can't remember what's that guy. Eric.
Peter Chris.
Peter. No.
Eric. Eric.
The next guy.
Oh,
Yeah,
oh.
Eric.
I can't
I
remember
don't know.
the guy's last name, but he had fox makeup, and he was the drummer. And his drum set was on top of the turret, and he did a drum roll, and the turret would move and aim, and then it blew out the speakers on top of the stage with flame coming out the turret and everything. It was pretty neat.
Yeah.
And Gene and Paul were on the treads of the tank that were lit up and moving kind of with the lights, you know.
I mean, they do a great stage show. I only went to them because of that. I saw them in 1979 or 1980 just for the stage show.
Yeah.
Stafford Bingley Hall, and it was amazing.
Mhm.
I still didn't go out and buy any more of the records, but it was an amazing show.
Somebody in the chat said juggalos. I'm sorry, that made me laugh out loud.
So I'm gonna wrap up the poll, which was a limited poll because you can only have 4 choices. Which is the most Halloween of these tracks? And the choices were Thriller, Frankenstein, Alice Cooper, Welcome to My Nightmare, and that bloody Monster Mash song.
I love that song. I might not have voted for it actually. I wanted
so 33 votes. You've got about 2 seconds to make a final vote if you haven't done it, because we're going to wrap that up.
Alice Cooper.
Right. Everybody vote for Alice Cooper now, please.
5
killing
seconds.
me,
I'm
folks.
giving you 10 seconds. 10 seconds. 10 seconds. 10 seconds. I'm not seeing any more votes. We've reached the limit of our audience, so I'm going to end that poll, and it is indeed ended. Thus endeth the poll, and we'll let it come up on the screen and highlight it. Very disappointing. I'm disappointed in you all. Well, I don't know. Thriller is a fantastic.
It's the ode to friggin' Halloween. I understand.
Yeah, and hopefully that poll will be highlightable. We can see it on the wrap the poll prevents STDs. El Hombre liked Thriller though. So,
Yeah.
so I guess you couldn't get much more Halloween in Thriller, and I can't find the actual. It won't let me highlight it, but I will copy that text and paste it in so we can highlight it.
Oh yeah.
Hang on, there we go. Right.
They still show that video.
So Thriller did
I mean, the
come in.
video is very cool. It is.
Thriller did come in at number 1 with 48%.
Well, it was directed by John
So
Landis.
John Landis, the usual Rick Baker and others involved in the effects. Brilliant track. It is possibly the most Halloween thing ever.
Vincent Price voiceover.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yes. And Vincent Price being on it was just brilliant.
Yep.
He couldn't dance as well, but his voice on it was good. Funk of 40,000 years. And I know Michael Jackson later disowned it, and even on the video, it's got I don't endorse any belief in the occult or supernatural. He kind of disowned it later because of various religious things. But it's still an amazing achievement. I mean, it's the only 15-minute video I've ever sat up till midnight to watch.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like,
It's funny. I remember. Yeah. I still have an original Michael Jackson Thriller shirt.
Wow.
It's super tight. But
yeah. Well, put it on now.
I don't. Well, I'm mad.
And you didn't
I'm at
wear it
Airbnb
to the
right now.
show?
Get
How dare
changed.
This
you.
is not where I live.
Get changed right now. That'll boost the audience count. Edgar Winter Frankenstein 18%, Alice Cooper Welcome to My Nightmare 18%, and that bloody Monster Mash song 15%. So,
I love the Monster Mash. Everyone just stop.
well, I do like the Misfits version, and I like the Bonzos version.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
just there's nothing wrong with the Bobby Boris Pickett. It's just overplayed to death. Good stuff.
It's not ever overplayed. Hi, good stuff. What's up?
So, one thing I did want to say is, just for fun, I put together, I sat down and I scribbled 5 songs, of my favorite songs that have the word damned in them in the title. Let's see if you guys agree with any of these. So,
I am so bummed that I didn't get to hear any of the sound, but Plasmatics, Motorhead, all that was amazing. I was singing it in my head.
Yep.
Thoughts?
I agree with the list.
Yeah, I like
Yeah.
the list. I love the Iron Maiden one for sure. Iron
Now,
Maiden.
I like 3 of them. I'm sure you can guess which 3.
Right.
So I like that picture Joe's got there right now.
Oh, yeah.
I should point out that so somebody mentioned Iron Maiden, Number of the Beast. So Children of the Damned.
Iron Maiden got a few.
Yeah.
And that one always sounded to me like it was copied from the Black Sabbath song Black Sabbath, but that's just me.
I'm surprised Iron Maiden wasn't on our list, because I mean they definitely have that stage show presence.
I thought about it, but at the end of the day, unless we have a 500-hour show,
They're not really horror
Yeah.
themed in general.
No, that's true.
They do
No,
have
they're not.
imagery. They have songs and imagery. If we did a show about songs as opposed to bands, I think they would have a number of songs in there.
Oh yeah.
So that maybe will be next year's Halloween. Will be our favorite Halloween horror songs by bands. But yeah, I thought the Plasmatics, The Damned, was a good one because I like that because it's a very metal song.
Oh, yeah.
Mhm.
Very
Yeah,
metal.
that's a good one.
It rocks hard if you listen to that one. The Priest one's interesting because if you look closely at that set and you can see other videos of it, all the zombies in the film have got Rob Halford's face on them.
Yep.
Really?
It's really neat. Yeah, they're all Rob Halford.
Wow.
Yeah, the Painkiller. We've talked about that in a few streams, both on mine and Pope's channel. That
I was
Painkiller.
going to say you must be a fan of
Safe
Pope's
Space.
channel there, El Hombre.
Yeah, go check out Pope's
He
channel.
would like it. I'll yeah.
And you know what? I couldn't think
Right
of
in the
any
chat.
other songs that had Damned, and somebody was mentioning it. One of them would be a Slade song. Trust me, if Slade had a song with the name Damned in it, they would have been on this list. But they
We're
weren't.
both the Slade. We're Slade
Both
fans.
Slade fans. There's going to be an entire Slade stream at some point when I have
I can't wait.
suitable motivation to do it. We have to do a Slade stream. So drop a link to Pope's channel. Yeah. I'm sure we can do that.
I'm doing that right now.
Do it
Or
right
you
now,
can just find
yeah.
me
Yeah,
at
if you
Pope
could do that,
Metallicus.
that'd be
That's
great.
my channel.
Thanks, El Hombre. And I know that Courtney, you've got the power.
I'm
Yeah.
on top of it right now.
Yeah, if you're a fan of Priest, you definitely need to subscribe to Pope Metallicus.
And I would
In fact, me
also,
and our host here just did a review of their new single
we did.
on my Rumble
Yeah, they're
channel,
still
so
making
check
music.
that out.
That just shocks the shit out of me. That's
And it's
awesome.
fantastic too.
Damn
And
by
I'll-
AC/DC.
And El Hombre, I was just on there last Sunday, right? Yeah.
Last Thursday for the
Thursday, not Sunday. Yeah, you're right. That's Thursday.
So I did have one more thing that I wanted to talk about, and we haven't really talked about a lot of songs, but there's a lot of songs could be seen as very evil or demonic or whatever. There's a whole list, and next year maybe we'll get to those. But I did have what I thought was ultimately the most evil song ever written,
Oh boy.
And performed, and I'm going to play that for you now and explain why I think it's the most evil song ever. So be prepared. This is shocking stuff.
It's the monster.
Make
Mash.
sure there are no pets or children in
Uh-oh. Look out.
I'll be right back.
clean cut guy who happens to have a cute doll that he likes. But that's just a cover up, because underneath it's possibly the most horrifying and disturbing song ever made. This supposedly clean cut guy is seduced into a life of satanic wickedness by his evil possessed succubus doll.
Wow.
Who comes alive and enslaves him and gets him to do all sorts of horrible things, and he has to serve her. It is truly the wickedest song ever made. It's pre-Chucky.
I never heard the sound. I don't know if the chat could.
It's horrifying. Pre-Chucky, this succubus of a doll causes this lovely clean cut guy to turn into a demonic worshiper. So
Wow.
It's the most evil song ever made, in my opinion.
That sounds a lot like Excitable Boy by Warren Zevon.
A little bit about that, but
you know, Excitable Boy sounds like it's going to be a kind of upbeat, tune, and you find out he's building cages with her bones and all that stuff.
The chat couldn't hear it. I don't know. I could hear it.
The chat couldn't hear it.
I could hear it.
We heard it at the beginning, and then the sound went out.
No, I know the sound stopped because I didn't want to get copyright.
Gotcha. Yeah,
I only played a little bit of the sound. So
okay, I'm just reading the chat. Sorry, just passing.
So deliberately I cut the sound because otherwise it would have been copyright struck after 9 seconds. So Living Doll, check it out. It pretends to be a nice, cute song by a very religious, clean cut guy. It's actually about evil, demonic possession of the succubus doll, taking over his life and getting to do wicked, wicked things. So.
And here I thought you were going to say Slayer's Dead Skin Masks.
Well, that would be on the real list. I was trying to make a joke, but obviously because nobody knows who Cliff Richard is but me. So he's the most clean-cut guy. He's a Christian as well. He's the most clean-cut guy you could ever get. But this, I thought, Living Doll. What if that doll happened to be demonically possessed? Camel Toe and Wine. El Hombre knows who he is. Camel Toe and Wine. Or Mistletoe and Wine, as it was. Camel Toe and Wine. He does Christmas songs. He's famous for it. If you play it backwards, Cliff turns into Alice Cooper, apparently. Anyway, it faded out quickly because of the 9 seconds thing. So Christian, I believe, has done another.
Yes, he has.
So for $2, my dear friend Christian Delorme, which doctor is the worst earworm ever? Torture.
I hate you, Christian.
Which doctor? Sorry, remind me again. This is not the witch queen.
Walla walla bing bang.
Bing bang.
Oh, man, no.
My wife can sing that verbatim.
The worst, man.
Yeah. See, that wasn't a big hit in the UK when I grew up, so I didn't know it till I came here.
Chipmunks.
But I noticed you may hate it, John, but you can sing it.
Yeah, I know it. That's the problem.
Yeah, it's an earworm. So I got to play another video for Christian. So let's get something. Oh yeah, this will do.
I hear you, brave young jables. You are hungry for the rock, but to learn the ancient methods, secret doors you must unlock.
A lot of Ronnie's songs would fit into this show, but not Ronnie as an act per se. I don't think so. Other than part of Black Sabbath. Anyway, we're going to start heading towards the end of the hour. Gentlemen, if we've missed anything, what has it been? Oh, I know what we
I don't
did
think we
miss.
missed anything.
Well, I can think of one thing. So I did have a couple of lists of scary bands, etc., and we didn't really quite get around to it. Lists of 30 creepy songs, but we haven't got the time. We'll save those for another time. But this list I'm going to show on stream of the scariest bands of all time. We'll have a quick look at that because I wanted Imp's view on a couple of these things before we wrap up. So this is from the Top 10's website. And hang on, show on stream. So top 10 scariest bands of all time. Number 1, Mayhem. So tell us about Mayhem, Imp.
Their real life antics were more scary than anything they ever did musically.
Yeah.
Yeah, so Norwegian, obviously.
Yeah.
What happened to their vocalist?
He killed himself. Slit his wrist and blew his brains out with a shotgun.
Yeah.
Whoa, he meant it.
And
didn't
then left a note saying, "Please excuse the mess."
Yes.
Yeah. Wait a
The
minute.
lead, the lead singer of the Plasmatics also went that way, but not as gory.
Wait a minute. Hang on. I got to get this right. You said he left a note after he killed himself?
Wow.
I just kidding.
Sure, he wrote it beforehand. Yeah.
Yeah. So, but they used his pictures on the cover of an album.
Yes, because the way it was set up was they had a band house that the singer was staying at, like that was kind of out and more in the middle of nowhere. The singer at the time, a guy by the name of Dead, was Swedish, and he moved from Sweden to Norway. He was pretty much an outcast. So, yeah, when they showed up, they decided instead of calling the cops first to take pictures.
Jeez.
And some of those pictures ended up on a couple of bootleg albums.
Yeah. So I've heard of it before, but yeah, I can't say I've heard their music, but
It's nothing great.
no.
Yeah, they're okay.
Grandma got run over by a reindeer really should be a Halloween song, not a Christmas song. That's true.
The thing they're most famous for is being responsible for a bunch of church burnings in Norway.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
Wow.
So that they're counted as the scariest band of all time on here. Another band I've never heard of is at number 2, G.G. Allen and the Murder Junkies.
The Murder
How have
Junkies?
you? Wait. How have you never heard of Gigi Allen? First of all,
And the Murder Junkies.
they had a song that was "Girls." No, that was Gigi and the Jabbers. Never mind.
Girls.
No, it wasn't that. It was Gigi and the Jabbers. I had to correct myself. The Murder Junkies was where he got into a little more of the fecal scene.
Oh, right.
Ugh,
He was a shit disturber.
thanks for
Uh-huh.
One way to put it.
He was a shock rocker in every way.
El Hombre knows who he is. I've never
Yeah.
heard of him.
Yeah, there's
Oh,
a
he was
difference
wa- oh, he-
between shock rock and just being insane on stage.
Oh, he was insane. He would definitely smear things on him and stuff like that and throw it at the audience. And yeah.
In this list, they were number 2. Number 3 was Gorgoroth. Again, Imp will have to guide me on that one.
They started off as something, but when you hire a guy as a guitarist who's in the Norwegian equivalent of Nickelback, I have problems.
Yeah, that's right. Well, that is scary, though. That is scary.
that is scary.
Their first
Yeah,
couple
whole-
albums are pretty good, though.
Yeah, first like 3 or 4 are actually pretty good.
So, Jack, apparently there is a
There
fecal
is.
scene.
There was.
Apparently.
Gigi Allen created it.
There must be a documentary about them.
Yeah, he did. That's yeah.
Does that mean Scatman Crothers was involved, or
No.
Sorry about that. That was a bad joke. Marilyn Manson at number 4. Now, what do we think of Marilyn Manson? Really, I'm not a huge fan. His name's Brian.
I'm not either.
I mean, Brian isn't a name for a scary metal guy.
No.
Really.
You're more metal than Marilyn Manson. Okay.
I've
be.
met him. Him and the Spooky Kids, before they were famous, played at the Blue Note in Columbia. And they came into the game shop because they wanted stuff to play on the bus as they travel. So
Okay.
he's a guitarist.
Yeah, I think he's putting on a lot of front. if you
Yeah,
ask
he is.
me. Yeah, it's an act. He's,
Yeah, that's always how he struck me, as all flash, no substance.
yeah. I'm not a fan. Cannibal Corpse at number 5.
I mean, if you like
I like them.
ladder lyrics, they're great. That's pretty much what they are.
Yeah,
I liked them in
they're
high
more
school, so.
gory than they are frightening in any kind of way.
Yeah, they're also a bunch of the nicest guys you'll ever meet.
Yes.
Yeah. I mean, that's right. They're not that scary. I mean, the name is pretty rough.
They're more
They're not
grotesque and
scary.
gruesome than scary. I mean, they have songs
Yeah.
like Pit of Zombies, which has a little bit of a horror element to it. And
Yeah.
some of their tracks do have a little bit of a horror element, but it's hard to get in there and find it because usually you hear the lyrics, you're like, that's not right.
Yeah.
In terms of lyricism, though, I would put a bunch of other bands above them. I mean, Demolition Hammer especially is way worse.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'd agree with that. Now here's another band I don't like, Slipknot. I'm not a big fan.
I like their song Psychosocial, but other than that, I'm not into them either.
I just think
I walked away for a minute and I heard Slipknot and I went, no!
I'm not a big fan.
I just had to
And
run
Brian,
back.
I got to duck out, man. You guys have a great time.
Okay, mate.
I will see
Later,
you.
Joe.
Joe, thanks
Joe.
for being here, buddy. Anything you want to plug just on the way out?
Oh, I have to leave because I got to throw some groceries
right.
down my throat before I start my stream in 25 minutes playing
right, yeah.
KOTOR.
Okay,
All right.
mate. Well, everyone head over to Joe's after this. I'm sure we'll get a link in the into the chat for you. So thanks, buddy.
I think
you, Joe.
Das Wolfen can take care of that for me. So I got to go. You guys
Thanks,
take
mate.
care.
See ya. Take care, mate. Yeah, just to finish off this list to end the show, I'm not a big fan of Slipknot. I've often thought
Their early stuff is all right. It's really angry when they're really angry, but after they
Don't make me judge you, Pope.
They're just
I think they're cosplayers, but that's just me.
They're like the Nickelback of metal.
Yes, that's
Kinda,
what I
yeah.
Nickelback's like the other worst band, and Creed. Just no.
Nickelback may be a bad band, but they had Wayne Gretzky in a video, and that's good enough for me. Korn, yeah. Are they
No.
scary?
Nah,
They're not scary.
no.
I wouldn't go with scary at
Yeah.
all.
Not scary.
I'd also go with not a good band, but that's just my
Yeah,
opinion.
I'm not a big fan either. Stalag and Gulag, which sounds like a German concentration camp, and it is, by God, that's what they mean. Never heard of them.
Neither have I.
But the next one is I could see.
Rammstein. Now they don't frighten me.
Rammstein.
They're not Rammstein.
they're
I'm just going by whether I like the band or not. I think is what
I
I'm
like
doing.
It was pretty horror themed and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But I don't know about scary.
They don't scare me. In fact, quite the opposite. I think they're great. I mean,
Their live show is a fucking spectacle and a half.
oh
but I don't know
yeah,
about scary in
not
any way.
scary. It's impressive. Imp,
put-
I mean,
I like Rammstein, but I wouldn't consider them scary.
not scary. No. That John, you were.
Oh yeah, I put the link to Joe's show in the private chat if somebody wants
Oh.
to share it because I can't.
You know.
No, I'm not a mod.
Oh,
No.
I'll have to change that.
Oh, I can do that. Oh, never mind.
Yeah.
You do it.
If you want to do it, Courtney, that would be great. I'm just.
I can
looking
do
for-
that.
If you could,
I
thanks.
can do that.
I'm looking
Yes,
for.
I can do that.
John, if you were to type something in the chat, I would mod you.
I got it.
Sun O at number 10. I've never heard of them.
Neither have I.
And then it said it was the top 10, but they've got more. Slayer's at 11. I'm not going to go to lower. Slayer.
Slayer and Death? Okay.
I like Slayer. I listen to Slayer a lot.
Slayer, I've seen a bunch. Slayer's good. I mean, I think they would go with like scary because of Sorry, I can put my. Oh wait, I had this on in case. There we go.
So let's.
I took my glasses off, but I guess my glasses are just off now.
Das Wolfen has indeed added something. And I will make you a mod, Das Wolfen. But yeah, thanks for posting that, Courtney. So Courtney's just posted Joe's channel link. Thank you for doing that.
Yeah,
but yeah, it was a weird top 10 because only a couple of those would be genuinely scary, I think. But maybe we're just hard.
I think bands like Venom and Bathory would be up there
Yeah.
Bathory.
way higher than bands like Slayer or Cannibal Corpse.
Yeah.
Oh,
Well, bear in
definitely.
mind with this modern generation, even the slightest bit of aggression is scary to them.
Or like
Yeah, that's
Sisters
true.
of Mercy, or I
Yeah.
know they're not scary, but
Well, I mean, which bands could you say were genuinely threatening on stage, which would classify as
Gwar
scary?
and Gigi
Gwar.
Allen.
Even
Gigi
like,
Allen.
like original Sex Pistols gigs.
You would be
scary.
terrified if you were in the audience of Guar
Yeah.
because, well, they shoot things at you. But if you were in Gigi Allen's audience, you actually get real things thrown at you. So yeah, I would not want to be at a show anywhere close to the stage. When
The other problem with Guar shows is pretty much half the general admission area becomes a mosh pit.
Yes.
Yeah. Which is scary for old people like me.
Yeah.
My days of crowd surfing are over.
You just have to know where to go. I mean, I'm a pretty skinny girl, and you just have to know the areas to be, kind of. And then if you're like right behind another person, you can,
So our great friend Christian has dropped another $2 Canadian. Nickelback is a great band. They name drop CCR. You know what? I like them. Certainly, I don't hate them like some people. I don't have any other records.
Christian, you're not my brother anymore.
Other than Rockstar, I don't have anything else. But I'm not offended by them. I just like they do their thing. That's their thing. They're nice enough guys. It's not my thing, but it's their thing.
Let me. Bungalow Logic says, "Is it the band that is scary or the crowd they attract?" And if it was the crowd they attract, ICP.
Yeah.
Oh God, yes. Juggalos are fucking weird.
So I got to play one more, something else for Christian. I'm just looking down the list here. I think I'll give him a taster of what next week's show will be about.
Get up and go. Get up and go. Get up and go back home.
We're doing the Ruddles?
We're doing the Ruttles next
Oh, really?
week. Yes.
Cool.
So before we talk about that, thank you everybody thanks for the super chat, Christian, and all the super chats. You've been a real mange today. Appreciate it very much.
Christian's the best.
Thank you to everybody in the chat. We've had some people modding that were both on the panel and in the chat. Thanks to Courtney and Davina and Lord Thoth and all the others that were modding today. Appreciate it very much. I know you guys just you volunteered.
That's the first time I've ever been thanked as a mod. I'm literally the worst mod in the world.
Well, you did it today.
Yay!
Tina is here. She's been lurking. Good to see you.
I made it. Hey, Tina.
We had a great chat today. You were all fantastic. Some great stuff. I hope you enjoyed it. Hope you enjoyed the show.
You should have gotten a couple new subs too, I hope.
Well, we'll see, but yeah, I hope so. But yeah, keep sharing. If you guys share the show out, and we can get more eyeballs on it. But we have a lot of fun. You guys are here every
You have
week.
another super chat.
Yep.
Oh, I see that, and it's our great friend, one of the great supporters of us guys out here. I know WG's in a lot of shows, and Bourbon and Boarding. He's a big supporter of that. Great guy. $20 from WG. Scary band. I nominate The Nexus of the Crisis and the Origin of Storms. Blue Oyster Cult. Scary in a Lovecraftian way and in a funny way with their classic Joan Crawford Has Risen from the Grave. I forgot about that track.
Also Godzilla.
Yeah, I was going to say,
Godzilla.
I bet you guess what my favorite song of theirs is.
Go Godzilla. What a great selection.
I don't know what the connection would be.
And yeah, Blue Oyster Cult, Lovecraftian horror, a lot of space stuff as well. I did like them. I haven't listened to them much recently. Back in the day, big fan. Mirrors, it's a great track. I love that track. Yeah, Don't Fear the Reaper. I mean,
yeah,
such a good song.
It's
More cowbell,
more
definitely.
like sci-fi stuff, like Veteran of the Psychic Wars and a couple of other stuff.
Yeah, they do a lot of space stuff, and I do Hawkwind, of course, which we could. But we'll do a space rock thing sometime too. That's on my list. And I'd like, the Lovecraftian thing is a great. But yeah, next time, and if we're doing songs next year for Halloween, we'll do scary songs. That's on the list. Burning for You, another great track. So for WG, we must play a track, play something. I think we'll go for this.
Holy diver, you've been down too long in the midnight sea. Oh, what's becoming of me?
Ronnie, love you, man. Thank you, WG. It's extremely appreciated. Keeping the lights on here. Thanks, buddy. And Christian's determined to keep the stream going, even though my stomach is rumbling. $2 from Christian. You're such a good guy. Being an a-hole prolonging the stream. Well, the only thing that's going to get you is once again Judette. I could play that.
I like.
Go watch
gotta
the
see
whole
that.
video. It's so good on Bill McClintock's channel. It's so good. Yeah, thanks, Christian. Appreciate it, buddy.
Where's Brahmable when we need a good Christopher Walken impression?
I know,
Right?
walking.
Because I got a fever, and the only prescription is more
It is
cowbell.
more cowbell. Yeah, that's what we needed there. Massgrave. Thank you, buddy. This has been such an
Yeah.
incredible stream. We try to talk about the stuff we love, have a few laughs, and talk about some music. I'm glad
This
you
was
love
up
it.
my alley.
I'm glad you love it, and Courtney. And you look you look stunning, Courtney. Stunning.
Thank you. It's
I
the
just
hair.
look stunned. I look stunned. You look stunning.
The hair and my super cool studded vest.
WG, cheers, buddy. I hope you all enjoyed it. Thank you very much, everybody. You've all been great in the chat. Such great chats. Fun show. Yeah, we had a lot of good times. Imp, have you got anything coming up you would like to mention?
Not going on this week, really.
Succinct. I like that. I like that in a panelist.
I don't have much to say. I don't have much to say. What can I tell you?
Well, you were great, buddy.
Yeah, you
Thank you for everything you did put in. It was your idea. It was Imp's idea
Yeah.
to do this show today, so thanks for that, buddy.
Yay, that was a good idea.
Air Supply, well, I'm all out of love. So I can't.
I'm so lost without you.
I'm so lost without you.
I think Halloween's last year was my idea too, with the Hammer movies.
Yeah,
we
it
did
was.
Hammer, and that was a great stream. I loved that stream, and go back and check it out, everybody. I might re-promote it because it was a lovely, lovely stream, and lots of
Aside from the
heaving
multiple
bosoms.
copy strike takedowns.
Multiple copy strike takedowns, but lots of heaving bosoms.
Very true.
Pope, what have you got going on?
Well, Thursday we have possibly
Cheers,
the
Bill.
best episode of rock and roll history that I will do on my channel. We are doing the rise or the beginnings of the new wave of British heavy metal. So
My
that
era.
is going to be absolutely outstanding. Pretty much all of the greatest metal bands ever put to vinyl are going to be talked about that
My
night.
God.
So hopefully you guys will join me. Hopefully you'll see some of the people on the
Hopefully, I
panel.
can be there, mate. Yeah, because did I ever tell you I saw Iron Maiden with Paul Danio?
Yeah,
Did
I
I
think
ever-
you mentioned that.
And did I ever tell you I saw Samson with Bruce Dickinson?
That's also incredible because Samson wanted to
What?
be down that long.
I saw Samson play live with Bruce Dickinson, and they were supporting
Amazing.
Saxon.
Amazing.
That was some gig. Yeah, that's my era. I was deeply immersed in that era. I hope you're going to talk about Diamond Head.
Oh God, yes. In fact, I may do a separate episode on Sunday specifically about Diamond Head. I've been
Oh,
listening
great,
to them
man.
a lot in preparation for this show.
I saw
Because
them a
Diamond
bunch
Head
of
is
times.
kind of not only at the tail end of the NWO BHM era, they kind of set up a lot of the thrash that would come in the 80s.
Am I evil? But I saw them a bunch of times in clubs because I was in the Air Force in the area in Wolverhampton area where they were from. So I saw them a lot playing around there. A great band. Yeah, I look forward to that, mate. So go check out Pope's channel, everybody. Wheels of Steel, great record. Love
Yet
that
another
record.
band we haven't done a full episode on is Saxon. Jesus.
Saxon, yeah. Saxon drugs and rock and roll.
Yep.
John Das Wolfen. What's
I
he up to,
am,
buddy?
well, tomorrow at 4 Central, I am doing part 2 of my Godzilla Heisei era. So we'll go through the remaining movies there. We should get done with that and then start on the next one. Will start on the Mothra Heisei era, Rebirth of Mothra movies.
I love Mothra, but I like Godzilla versus Mothra. That's my favorite.
So and I'll put my link in the channel since I can do that now.
Yeah, I mean, I did have an automatic link thing set up, but it's not working today. Like a number of things are not working. I got to look into that. Normally, they should just post every few minutes. But thanks. Yeah, stick your link in there. And there it is, Das Wolfen's channel link. And that leaves only one person, the platinum redhead, hot neon redhead, Courtney. What you up to, lass?
Well, I'm in another Airbnb, not the one I rent. I'm actually up in the mountains, and I'm here all week because I just found out my car needs a new engine. So I don't know what to do quite yet. So I'm going to be streaming this week. I figure I have nothing better to do. I'm going to probably try and plan a couple of fun little, I don't know,
Nice.
get a panel together or something. So hey, just subscribe, hit the notification bell, and you'll get notifications. Because I don't know what else to do with myself.
And your link is in there. I can see it in the chat already. Yeah, let's go check out Courtney. If you are doing something and I'm not tied up doing something else,
I'll hit you up, definitely.
Love to join you, lass.
And I have different wigs to show off too, so I feel like I have to, you know.
I've only got one, and you've seen it already. So I used to have another one that made me look like Sonny Bono, but that was for Halloween. But
I have a wig that could make me look like Sonny Bono, actually.
Because me and the missus used to go Sonny and Cher to stuff. So
I love
doing
that.
a Sonny Bono impression in the mountains of Colorado, though. That doesn't.
Oh, I know.
Yeah. I've seen his grave in Palm Springs.
That was really sad. But yeah, that was sad when it happened.
It's near Frank Sinatra's. It's in the same cemetery.
I didn't know that.
Anyway, thanks, Courtney. As for me, well, next week we're going to do a cult comedy crew, and we're going to do comedy and music at the same time because we are going to do the Ruttles, this second best fake band ever.
Yeah.
The Prefab Four, a legend in their own lunchtime. We are doing the Ruttles. I love the Ruttles dearly, not just as a show, but as the music by Neil Innes. It's some of the greatest parody music ever made, and it actually stands up on its own. The later archaeology stuff stands up in its own right as great songs. So, looking forward to doing that. All the connections to the Pythons and all that other stuff that's in it, and then the Saturday Night Live crew and all those. So the Ruttles, that'll be a great show. Looking forward to that. So look for more details. And there'll be other stuff I'm on. Midnight's Edge, After Dark, Toxic Tuesday on Nick Visor's channel this week. We're doing the third Evil Dead. We've done the first two. This week it's Army of Darkness. Can't wait because I love that movie. That's Tuesday night. Thursday, Rock and Roll Rowdies on their channel at 1 p.m.
I know I missed last week. I was so upset.
This week they're going to do hotels. So the Riot House.
Yay!
All these great hotels they've stayed in, like the Riot House and places like that. So it's going to be fun. And then just a bunch of other stuff. Bourbon and Boarding Saturday nights. Me and Brahma. So thank you again, everyone. Yeah. Thank you again, everybody, for joining. Thanks to the chat. It was a lot of fun. We'll see you next time. Until then, take care, and most importantly, keep on rocking.
Are we off?
No, we're still here.
Oh,
YouTube's doing it again. Go YouTube.
Still here?